Peace, peace, peace. It's your brother Tyvon Sueno, aka the Orthodox Moor. I'm here with a couple brothers from the Solar Vision Debate League, but Out the Blue, brother Claim Your Inheritance and whatnot. And I put out a link in the Hangouts for the Debate League for something else that I'm trying to start up, which is a solution league. Me and a couple of other brothers have been talking about this beforehand and whatnot, and I think it would be beneficial for some people in the league to be able to go and have a platform to go build towards solutions, because a lot of us don't want to just argue for the sake of arguing. A lot of us want to go build towards something or whatnot. And so a good brother of mine and I, his name is Sergeant Debo. He's a 5%er brother. We have an organization we started called Unified Solutions, to where our plan and goal is to go amongst the different groups in the conscious community, etc., have them break down their belief systems and structures, etc. And then once they've done so, try to see where we can all work together on where we agree and where we can civilly disagree on things, and let sleeping dogs lie. Like, don't attack people for where we disagree on beliefs and whatnot. Just focus on where we can work together on what we agree on and whatnot. And one of the things we wanted to focus on in the whole concept was being people in the diaspora coming out of slavery, etc., whatnot. A lot of us get attached to these ideologies that we find and make them our identities and whatnot. And when people start critiquing ideas and whatnot, we feel like they're critiquing our identity, and we get all crazy emotional about stuff. And a lot of times we can't move forward on solutions and whatnot. And something that I take from Malcolm X is the concept of leaving your religions at the door to be able to start a conversation or whatnot. However, something that I really, really focus on outside of that is, or after that is, once you leave the conversation, you're going to pick your religion back up at the door if you have one. So if you have one, you need to make sure that you're not practicing it from a colonialist mindset, and that how you're practicing religion is bringing you back home to whatever people you're trying to connect with. And so on this channel, we're going to try to facilitate those kind of conversations. And we're also going to have discussions and debates on what the best solutions are. Debate's a very good thing. Discussions is a good thing. Dialectics is a good thing. Discourse is a good thing. They all have their place. And so what we want to do here is we want to start off with the concept of, we're going to agree to disagree at the outset. All right, agree to disagree at the outset in terms of being people of different ideologies and traditions and whatnot, right? And the goal is to be able to find out where we can agree, and where we do disagree, being able to figure out how to do so respectfully. And then again, moving forward from there. And also what I'd like to do is also set up different conversations and sit downs, to where, like, if for instance, like Israelites, for instance, there's many different types of Israelites: Torah only, Messianic, you even have Moorish Israelites, etc. You know what I'm saying? All different people claiming to be Israelites, right? With different belief systems and whatnot. We should be able to sit down at a table and at least find out where we can work together on what we do agree on, versus always discussing what we disagree on in terms of religion, the text, etc., all that type of stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying, our people are still hungry, our people are still going naked, they're still going homeless, etc., etc., etc. So I'm sure there's something we can agree on doing together via our past our differences, you know what I'm saying, but something we can agree on together that we can move forward on together on in the here and now. And so in order to do that, we need to have a conversation to where we can just agree to disagree at the outset. Like, if you're Torah only, I'm not going to ever accept you or expect you to accept the New Testament. If you're Messianic, I'm not going to accept you. I'm not expecting you to relinquish the New Testament, etc. You know what I'm saying? We just put that part down. We recognize that we're Israelites at the beginning of the conversation, and then move forward from there. If you're RBG, same thing. If you're a Moor, same thing. If you're Kemetic, same thing. If you're on some atheism tip, right? I got to work with that a little bit. I'm saying, but like, I feel like there's a way to even work with atheists to where, like, if they bring it back to a concept of where they're going home with it, I can rock with it. If you're talking about like some European concepts, that's not going to work so well. And if you want to talk about that, that's the debate part of the solution right there. If you feel like it can be a solution, bring it to the table, and it'll be tried and measured, and we'll see how it works. You know what I'm saying? And it'll all be like a publicly run kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be like any kind of cult personality type of thing. You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. But with that, I'm gonna digress a little bit and let some people build. again, I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about this concept. Y'all might like duking it out. Y'all might want to build towards solutions, etc. But how do y'all feel about it?
Yeah, man, I like getting actually a chance to build and work on some things, bro. I think that we could actually get started in a community. I know we have, because at the end of the day, we believe what we are. But we supposed to be having the same goal, which is our people, and raising up our people, fixing our families, and and taking control of our communities. You know what I'm saying? And as far as our financial situation, uh, inside of this system, and working away on getting outside of this where we don't have to rely. So that comes with us, building with people that don't necessarily have the same ideology, but it's on us to show the rest of the world that this is actually how a community have right now. Brandon Bay is fun. That's one of the major things that we need to be making sure that we take care of, is making sure that one of the partners that's in our community is taken care of.
Right.
None of our kids should go without. They're all our kids. Everybody got kids, pretty much. So we got to show that, we ain't talking.
Real talk. Saying what you got.
So, I've been working on some plans for quite some time, and they're very interesting. And we got a situation where you said to leave your religions at the door. So, it's I don't think that's possible. So there's a passage in the Bible, right, that says that peace surpasses all understanding. So from a biblical perspective, understanding is doing the commandments properly, and understanding prophecy and shit like that. So if we can get to the level of peace, that would be great. I think the methodology that people use, like for example, the Sarnettas of the world and shit like that, right? They say just forget about all the religions. That's gonna be very difficult for many people to do. You see. So if you can find builders that are willing to do that, then I will support it. But I just don't see that happening.
Now, to be clear, I'm talking about just putting down the religion to start the conversation. And once this conversation gets started, I'm not saying you leave the religion out of it, right? I'm saying, like, so for instance, as people of African descent, like we can start there if you identify it. If you even identify as that, right? If you don't, cool, we can have the Israelite conversation. And in the Israelite conversation, it's 100% about Israelite stuff, right? But even in the group conversation, I'm not saying don't bring your ideology to it. I'm saying don't bring it in the context of like trying to convert anybody, right? Like, so if we're having a group conversation, like let's say it's between Moors, Israelites, Kemetic people, etc., I want to hear the wisdom of the Israelite structure. So if we're talking about economics, okay, what's the Israelite economic fix to this, right? What's the Moorish economic fix to this? What's the Kemetic economic fix to this? And we can compare and contrast on that level, right? Now, if we're having like just strictly Israelite conversation where we're trying to like hash out stuff between the Israelites, we're putting all the stuff on the table to see how it gets down. I'm not saying you don't talk about religion. I'm saying you start from the premise of we're going to agree to disagree at the outset. I'm not trying to convert nobody with my tradition. However, I'm going to, like I'm saying, you put it down at the door for that concept, but you pick it back up with the concept of I'm trying to go back home with it. I'm trying to build with it. I'm trying to unify with my people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I think a good approach to that would be for the builders, right, to come around with their ideas and say, I see it this way and I see it that way for the society that we're trying to build or whatever. I see it this way, I see it that way, but they have to be able to present like a real tangible type plan. You see what I'm saying? And then the others can chime in on it and tweak the plan, and then whichever people will agree with this and agree with that or whatever, they can link up with those people and then get their plan perfected and whatnot, and then get the ball rolling on building that society independently of each other, of the different ideologies, right? So you got this ideology over here building, you got this ideology over there building, you got that ideology over there building. And then whatever you see being the most successful, all the different ideologies share their successes and
100%.
discard. You see?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm all about best practices and whatnot. So I like the concept of like all of us doing our own thing within our own groups and whatnot. But at the same point, I'm having that group conversation. Like, okay, what's working for you? What's working for me? Oh, that's working. Let's all put that together real quick in one package and see how that works together. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And see, I understand what you're saying too, Klein. But here's the thing: when we separate like that, we don't have enough of the manpower that we truly need, and we, especially for all of us that are individuals. So, what it comes down to is we have the same goals. That's just like I don't believe the same thing G-Con believes, but G-Con has a problem with the school system, and you know what I'm saying, and setting up something for homeschooling. And I also have a problem. Why? Because we have a disbelief in the shots. We have a disbelief in the teaching. And we also have a disbelief in the celebrations that they take hold to. That's pretty much everybody in this community. So, that right there, we can leave the dogma at the table. You know what I'm saying? And discuss what we're going to do about these kids. Do you want your kids to have these shots? No.
Well, and that's really easy to clear up too, because like in an online schooling situation, all of our ideologies can be put into a religious studies course, and we just leave it there, and we can just talk about economics and other history, etc. From there. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you though.
No, you're right. And if you know what I'm saying, if we set up, because of what I wanted to do was I wanted to set up something where we had basically if we could find at least two sisters that are able to do a full curriculum in both the one that can teach the Hebrew, one that can teach the Aramaic, and they, you know what I'm saying, they both have to learn that. Now, if we can find somebody also, or somebody wants to add in that they find a sister that can teach the Meta Netter or something like that, then that's all fine and dandy too. I think I think one of our classes, you have to take at least one of those classes. Me personally, I would want my son to take both. I need him to the Hebrew and the Aramaic. I think they both helpful. I think they both, especially Aramaic, I think would complement it. So I would have my son enrolled in both of them. As far as study-wise, of course, we would be able to invite true history. That's where we get our chance. Put our blueprint on it. And as far as the sciences, if you want your son to study, Israelite, as far as religion class, or the Israelite science, or the Kemetic science, or you might want your son enrolled in just the Muslim science, or you might want them in all three. You know what I'm saying? However, you know what I mean? Because we'll just do it where it's maybe we should do it where you have to take all three.
Right.
You know what I mean? However it is, you know what I mean? But I think these are the things that we can all, you know what I'm saying, agree on and take.
Right. And one more thing I wanted to add, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say real quick, it can have like a homeschool feel, but like how we kind of do things on Hangout, or I like the way Zoom operates.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what that technology is set up for, right? And so we can instantaneously set up a national schooling system for something like that, right? But in doing so, this is the second point I wanted to make, is like the second pillar of unified solutions that me and my brother came up with was the fact that whatever solution you need as a group is okay with us. Like we all need to be okay with that. Like, so for instance, like, so me and Blue are Israelite, right? Claims Israelite, right? Other people are Muslim, etc. You know what I'm saying? Other things, etc. Like, so for us in particular, like we need like we can't eat pork, etc. Certain kind of things like that, right? So let's say we all decide as a group we want to come up with like some kind of like chain restaurant or something like that, right? Well, we got to make sure that the menu is okay for someone who's an Israelite, someone who's a Muslim, someone who also is a vegan, all that kind of stuff. You know, we got to make sure we're not leaving people out in a group solution, right? When it comes to like an Israelite solution, you can make it as Israelite as you want to, right? But when it comes to a group thing, you got to make sure you're dealing with what everybody needs in this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
And for the most part, when you look at it, we gonna pretty much all agree. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Nobody want to eat that trash. Don't nobody want. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
We gotta.
It builds a situation.
Similarities. Yeah.
Right. And this is where we can build common respect on the similarities, And because we got more similarities than differences, right? We agree on 7 things, disagree on 3 things, and we're fighting all year about the 3 things and not building nothing on the 7. You feel me?
Exactly.
It don't make no sense. I'm like, let's put the 3 things down real quick. You know what I'm saying? Hash them out where we need to, because certain things do need to get hashed out, right? But on the 7 things we agree on, let's just move forward somewhere. You feel me? Let's do something.
Eventually, yeah, we have to, because otherwise it just becomes talk.
Right.
It's like, okay, y'all do this every day, so I mean, what are we going to exactly see? Like, you know what I'm saying? Results. Because now we got a chance. We becoming popular. We have a chance to make our lifestyle popular and our community popular, where more people get involved and help, you know what I'm saying, support it. Because if we can get, you know what I'm saying, these teachers supported, then we know our kids is in good hands. We know that they're learning, they're able to especially through activities and things like this, they able to actually interact with each other, with other kids that are covered up. You know what I'm saying? With other kids that are, you know what I'm saying, that have their natural hair, and they get to see that, and the kids that are comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to you, they gotta go to school with the perm heads and the saggy pants all day. Well, shit, they don't even wear saggy pants no more, bro. My fault. The skirts, and the dudes wearing skirts.
Yeah, the skirts to the skinny jeans. They be sagging the skinny jeans though. Be cracking me up with that joint. Come on. What's that about?
A weird generation, brother.
Yes, sir.
I said, man, my no friends, bro.
So there's a concept of getting along with all men if it all possible, right? So that has a lot to do with peace surpasses all understanding. So it all boils down to respect of each person's ideology. You don't disrespect their ideology.
Right.
Okay. So that will aid in the building process. I would also encourage people, young people especially, to find somebody within your paradigm that is a serious elder that is thinking along these lines that we're talking about today, which is the building aspect of our own societies and stuff like that, and then link up with them and help them promote.
Right, that's another thing we want to do too. Is really focus on the aspect of letting the youth speak their mind to the elders and whatnot, and vice versa. Right, to where like there's an open platform to where respectfully, of course, right, but things are heard, and because there's got to be clear dialogue between all levels of generations and whatnot for us to understand what everyone needs and whatnot. Right, I can't front like when I talk, like I'm 36, right? When I talk to these cats that are 17, 18, 19, they blow my mind. They blow my mind. Like I was not nowhere near where they were at.
The youth is it's all on politics. They all political now.
They're on fire. They know it. They know everything about everything. Like, okay, what's up? Like, all the parties, everyone was in it, okay, what's up? Let's build. Like, I can build with I've been waiting to build with cats like that for the longest. Like, I can build with the 17 and 18-year-olds. Like, I can't build with cats that are 40 and 50. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. But what's crazy is I was that way, bro, when I was, when I was growing up. It's the fact that I didn't have that in my hand. So some of the things, like, I used to hear all the time, like, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, I didn't know what they was talking about. Your third eye is open and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Just different stuff based on questions I asked, how I looked at certain situations, how I got myself out of certain situations that saved my life. And that's, you know what I'm saying? That's really a blessing that was passed from my mom too, being able to read spirit. But when I be looking at these type of things, I'm looking like, okay, how exactly what I'm doing, where do we meet at exactly? So it was never in hand, you know what I'm saying? So certain things we would talk about, like I remember 9/11, you know what I'm saying? And I was probably like in the 4th grade. My homeboy sitting out to like 12 in the morning. We going through the Bible, trying to, you know what I'm saying? Trying to pin together the you know what I mean? If these was prophecies or not, you know what I'm saying? Based on what was going on at that time period. But you know what I'm saying? To be able to, every day it's uploaded it's in a timeline on YouTube, or it's in a timeline on Facebook. that they able to actually get this information that we didn't get to our middle 20s. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's putting them at a greater advantage, which is something that we really got to be instilling, because they have to be, it can't be them deprogramming themselves in their 20s, almost in their 30s. They have to grow, they have to be raised deprogrammed now so that they can affect and change, because we're not ready. We're not ready to starve. We're not ready. You know what I'm saying? We're just not. Yeah, I mean, and that's just being honest. We're not that generation. We were raised a little bit too attached to things. We've been able to separate from things and start the wave of self-control. And we've been able to show that by things we've stopped eating, by the lifestyle we've stopped living, and things like that. But it's certain things we're just not prepared to do. You know what I'm saying? We're not prepared to, if we have to eat bugs and shit. You know what I mean? That's just being honest. So we have to start instilling that in the next generation. So in 2 or 3 generations, they are if Walmart closes, they're fully non-reliant. They don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Walmart closed. So what? There's a lot of things out here I can eat. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways I can create food. And that's a lot of that food is given to.
Right. So, it should be like if Walmart closed down, we don't even notice because we wasn't going there to begin with.
Exactly. So, you know, eventually we have to start instilling that to where, okay, my son is starting out, okay, he may still go to Walmart, but he's planted now a garden in the backyard. So now he grows, you know what I mean? He gets some stuff from Walmart, and he gets some of his fruit from his backyard. You know what I'm saying? Some of his vegetables. Okay, now when he has his son, he likes that idea in general. He likes it. You know what? I got a little land. I'll just grow a land of veggies here, and I have a little part over here for my fruits, and I got trees. I grow my own food, period. And I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Eventually we'll be less and less reliant on these type of things, because we not ready. And it ain't mainly because we not ready. It's mainly because our women and children ain't ready. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to put up with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Your woman, like, okay, damn, we ain't going to get no damn food. Where the food at? You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I mean, how many days you think I'm supposed to go with my babies crying? You know what I'm saying? So eventually, you know what I mean, we have to build up the next, at least in the next 2 or 3 generations of women and children, bro, of boys and girls that's prepared to go days maybe without eating, without water, you know what I'm saying, or things like that.
Real talk. So I think it, like in the league, like it's mostly dominated by Israelites, and mostly dominated by I think like pro-black, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I think you're gonna get like a main build to start with, like Israelites. I think really like it'll be interesting too. Like if we can get Israelites sitting down at a table to break down where we can get along. Like so for instance, like one of my big things as someone who claims the Israelite concept is I'm big about building the temple structures for our people. If not in a big sense, in like the tabernacle structure sense, to where like, okay, we don't have the storehouse, we don't have the threshing floor, we don't have the cities of refuge. It's, you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff. And then those. When I look at the Old Testament, when I look at the Torah, I look at the New Testament, I see those, at least we can agree on those things there. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. What I'm looking for, to me, be honest, bro, this is how I see it. I don't care if it turned out that IUIC or ISUPK or something was the ones that ended up taking lead and taking charge of the people and putting us in order. I wouldn't care. This would be my only care. Are we being held to the laws, statutes, and commandments? Because I need to be able to hold you to the exact same standard that I am being held to. You see what I'm saying? Right. And that way, we kill what, because partially I believe too what made us fall is not holding people above us up to the same standards that the people were being held to. So we're now in a predicament where we all read the law, we all know the law. So now it has to be where we are holding people accountable top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? For these things. When you commit usury on your brother, then your shop or your store is closed down. You add interest or something like that to one of your brothers, then and we catch you, your stuff is you know, maybe we set up a 3-strike system or something like that. But honestly, to begin the purge, it just has to be harsh at first, bro. Your business just shut down, man. We can't have it.
It's not, well, if you look at the scroll, it's not even shut down. You're just outside the nation, fam. Like, we don't spend with you no more.
Yep.
You're put outside. You're put outside the camp. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's like you got leprosy or something like that.
And it has to be that way.
But
so
right. And when it comes to the services for the people, we can all agree on that part, right? Like, so we can differentiate on certain parts of the doctrine, but like when it comes to the tithing, when it comes to the feeding the poor, etc., we all agree on that language. So none of us disagree. You feel me? Whether you're messianic or Torah based, like we all like when it comes to the structure of how you're supposed to institute this, that, and the third, like you can't like. When it comes to dealing with the poor, you just in the services that you're supposed to give to the people, right? None of it, like there's no language to disagree on. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing we can disagree on that.
Yeah,
you just got to do it.
It's just the stuff in between. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, like I understand we have our feelings about this and that, but it's like at the end of the day, this is supposed to be our goal.
Curriculum for like common most frequently asked questions, for example, like whatever we highly disagree on, or there's a lot of people disagree on, then we can put that to the side. We can write that down, put that to the side, and then all the things that we do agree on have a strong standard list that we can see clearly and present to the people. This is what we all agree on about these.
Check this out. As Israelites, if we can all agree just to put down the whole Messiah concept just for a quick second, in terms of like, let's not fight about that one right there, and just worry about the law and the scrolls for a quick second on how we can take care of each other and build with each other. Like, hey, like we can get much done just off of that. If we stop bickering on just that one alone, right, and just agree to disagree on the concept, because we won't know until it happens anyway, right? Like we can also, if we want to, but we'll fight until we're blue in the face. We won't build nothing. We can prove to each other. We can just put that, like, debate that one in the debate league. Like, that's what that's for, right? Just go ahead, go ham in the debate league on that one, right? But outside of it, okay, what can we build on?
Yeah, that's I'll be trying to tell my whole book brothers. I said, man, listen, man, you if you want them to worship, you know that Christ exists so bad, the way you approaching it is not gonna make them do nothing. They just gonna run away from it because it's just too forceful. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't no use of doing that. As long as they keep the law and perform the prophecies. This is what 99% of Israelites forget, and I try to remind people as often as possible. The prophecies are very important. So the unaware people that don't care anything about God, the Most High coerces them to perform necessary prophecies to put things in place, like tumbling blocks for events necessary for a kingdom to show up on the earth. So they don't know what they're doing. And they just happy to be living and doing all the destruction that they're doing and stealing, killing, and destroying. But the Most High is doing that purposely for the sake of the elect. You see what I'm saying?
But see, this is the thing too, though. What we have to understand too, as Israelites, we supposed to know that what the Torah is automatically teaching. That light is from what? Mm-hmm. From keeping the laws, right? The law is also referred to as the tree of life. Now, if we are rightfully keeping these things, right, and we are doing the things that is said to be done, then eventually that light will be shined. You know what I'm saying? Eventually we'll see that. Okay, now we've done what was written. Everybody may not necessarily like it. I mean, I look at it as this needs to somewhat be political too. Because you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to fit your ideology in order for you to benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? And I think eventually it will fit your ideology because it works. You know what I mean? And I think we have to see the results. But if I'm having a like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to put my wife out there, but that's just like me having a conversation with my wife. You know what I mean? And I may be conversing on something like about, you know what I mean, this is a good idea for us to do and this and that. And then look what y'all said. And then the question pops up, well, was that before or was that after the death? Like, well, if his word is good and what he's saying is good for us, what does it matter if it was before or after someone's death or not? This is something that we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, can we just move past that? Let's get the action done, because if we truly believe that there is a Messiah coming, he's coming. You know what I'm saying? The season must be set, then he's coming. Regardless of it. You're not changing that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
All you can do is change yourself. So let's forget about that part. Let's deal with how we treat each other. So when he do come, we ready. You know what I'm saying? He recognizes us. We don't want to be not recognized when he show up. You know what I'm saying? You want your Elohim to recognize you. Okay, these are the people that I put in charge right here.
Yeah, one of my elders said a long time ago, right? I asked him, I said, hey man, how can we train for the stuff that you're talking about? Like, what are we supposed to, I don't understand, what are we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? This is the question that I had about the Bible, because the Christian church never taught me what we're supposed to do. It was just like, know that Jesus exists, and then you're good. I said, what? Wait a second. Yeah, hold on, man. It's got to be some. And then, lo and behold, when I started studying, there are duties involved. So the duties are duties and all that stuff, and to accept the law and become the law and live it and establish the law all over the earth. So now, one of my elders said a while back, I said, "What?" I said, "How are we supposed to train for these things?" And he said, "You've already given everything you need." So I didn't understand it until like a day later when I thought about it and reflected on it. It's saying that your intellect will allow you to pick up on whatever you want to learn. So as you experience and go around traveling, you know what I'm saying, and learning new things, then you will pick up whatever you want to know about what you want to see manifested on the earth.
Yes. I agree with that 100%. So we have to start manifesting these things. You know what I'm saying, and letting us know. Because honestly, personally, like what I'm looking to be honest, I think when I was kind of having this conversation with Divine Prospect, and he looked at it to being he said it was a very metaphysical way of looking at it. But I guess that's just how I see the Torah. When I'm looking at the holiest of holies, I'm looking at that as being a place inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Jesus is the one that said that, you know what I'm saying, the temple is inside of, is in you. So if the temple is in me, then the holiest of holies is in me. And that's a place that I need to find inside of myself and meet with Yah. You know what I'm saying? That's where I meet with him. So that's personal. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, I need to be, you know what I'm saying, outside of that, he set laws in place on how I build with my brothers and my sisters. So I need to be, you know what I'm saying, putting that into practice. You know what I mean? So that's why I look at, you know what I mean? So once we able to, you know what I'm saying, to just real deal, you know what I mean, we can, you know what I mean, start building, doing things, actually working together, you know what I'm saying, with disagreements, through the arguments.
Something else I would encourage, right? You got to realize that people that think like this, the building process, are few and far between. So I always am encouraged by this photo that pops up in my head, like that's on the $2 bill, the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was only like a room full of people, like maybe like 30, 40 people in there. I don't know the exact number. And that's all there was. They were the only builders. So they said, hey, man, we got to write something down, and codify the process and make this thing happen. Everybody was like, do what? I ain't doing nothing. Fuck, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you talk about, and fuck you. And then the smart people got together in one room, wrote the Declaration of Independence, and then they signed it and said, okay, so we all gonna agree to this, and then we just gonna promote it. It's only a handful of us, and we're gonna build a country. The rest of these guys are gonna get with it as they see the manifestation of it with no problem. So that's what encourages me about that, that you only need a handful of people to make the shit happen.
Real talk. If you build it, they will come, and like it'll be a snowball effect too. Like if you get a small group of people building, like more people will see them building. Like, oh, let's join them. Let's help them build.
They're doing something.
Right.
And the results of the work, if it's successful.
Right. When we sit around just bickering and arguing all the time, no one wants to join that. Like exactly some people do, but it's not going to be a productive joining. They're going to join to add more bickering and more arguing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, boy, we got to definitely get on top of that one. Like, there's nothing wrong with hashing stuff out. There's nothing wrong with getting arguments with like proper arguments. Like an argument is not supposed to be like a fight. An argument is like you got a premise that you got. I got a premise that I have. And we're just putting them against each other. You know what I'm saying? Like when it gets emotional, we got to recognize, family, we're on some post-traumatic slave syndrome stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we got to recognize like we're hurt people and we're hurting people. One more time, we are hurt people, hurting people. So we got to start giving ourselves the medicine of unity. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the only thing that will cure our division. We got one simple sickness. It's division. The only cure is unity. You feel me?
And so when I was trained as in my teens, I learned that the only purpose of arguing is to reach a consensus in order to promote that consensus, and then so to have the result be manifested in the group. You see what I'm saying? But that's not what I'm seeing everywhere. So it's just a fun pastime is what it is.
That's just like this. I think we can all agree, right? According to the writings, is that if we all like the law, number one, like of course in the Torah is teaching that you find Yah through the law, right? Now, finding God through the law, we know that the law is basically dealing with how you treat each other. So if to sum it up, it's like how we treat each other is how, you know what I'm saying, it's how we'll see Yah manifest in our life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's how you get that type of a manifestation. So I think we just gotta really put it to practice. You know, we're gonna have our disagreements because I think that it is gonna be some hashing out of the kinks, and I think we can do. Have to be building at the, you know what I'm saying, and we have to be building on a bigger scale, and then the little stuff we'll, you know what I'm saying, we'll deal with.
Yeah, I walk around purposely trying to do the majority of the worries and fears of the report. There's a report, the FBI report that is trying to eliminate, identify the people, the man who's going to galvanize the people to cause Black liberation. So I attempt to do the majority of what they are afraid of, but what they're actually doing, okay, is trying to be sure that somebody does not build improperly and burn down their society. You see what I'm saying? So you got some people out here that want to, go to war and walk like the white nationalists. They want to march on march on the White House and just take it over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that they're trying to prevent that type of retardation. You see what I'm saying? So long as you build correctly and properly, you won't have any issues with any authority, authority that you may fear. So it's a lot of people out here that fear that type of
The repercussions.
of that. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
which they will come, but I don't. I think by the time we're prepared, we'll be ready. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it just now it doesn't need to be based on that. Now it needs to be based on us because it don't matter now. Oh, we go to fight this and that. That shit sounds good until you the only one out there because the people minds ain't even ready. You know what I'm saying? We're still in fear. So if you think people are going to help you, you're out of your mind. People will pick up a cell phone and watch you get your ass beat. I'm telling you, you will be the
Yeah,
next person.
there's a scripture in the book that says that the fearful won't inherit the kingdom, and
Mhm.
that's what we're experiencing. Is people are too afraid to be the
Yeah,
quote unquote leader of this situation.
to step out, you got to step out of your comfort zone because you got to think they have now become your God. This is your food. This is your food supply, your educational source, your medical source, all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much everything that you want, clothing,
Mm-hmm.
shelter, all of that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even if you want the land, even if you just want to pick up land, like, okay, I'll just build my own house. You still gonna have to go through them. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself puts you at you know what I'm saying, a disadvantage. And
Mm-hmm.
that acquires fear. That's why we have to be weaned. Like that's just like with a baby. You know what I'm saying? When the baby's being breastfed, you have to wean the baby off of the breast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Otherwise, he's still attached. So we have to be weaned off of this nipple that we've been on for so long and it got us comfortable. We've been damn near breastfed to our four, till we've been to 4 years old. We'll say 400 years, 4 years old. We still
Mm-hmm.
walk being breastfed today. We have to
Yep.
wean ourselves off of that and be non-reliant on that till eventually we're able to digest solid food. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. See, I always have to view it to keep it clear in my mind that we're not even born yet. We're in the womb.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the actual forming of the government and establishing a real government that is promoting and building and making money and protecting its money building processes and shit like this, and uh, clarifying minor disputes within their group. Let's say you got 1 million people in the group, and oh man, he stole my dog. Okay, you see, you got to be able to deal with that. You see,
Yep.
there's all types of disputes that's going to happen daily whenever you're building on that level. So once a real government happens, then we will be born and have to be breastfed. That's how I look at it. And then we're gonna have to wean ourselves off that that nipple, which is probably gonna have to be the location that we're in, which is the United States, and any other location that we're in Britain and
Now there's
Scotland
power
or whatever.
to that because I'm not mistaken, I believe though in the New Testament that actually it would actually be saying that the dragon is actually doing now the nurturing, or is
Mm-hmm.
the dragon nurturing the woman? Is that what
No,
it is?
it says that the wings of the eagle is going to carry the woman away from the face of the dragon, so that we be nurtured away from the face of the dragon, so that we won't have to be influenced by the dragon so heavy, which is the Pope and all that madness.
Right. It's
But you,
like the Torah. Like I'll put enmity between thy seed and the woman's seed. Talking about the Nachashim.
Mm-hmm.
mm, so that's pretty much, you can say that's pretty much the process we build it now is we're trying to separate ourselves to where we can comfortably, you know what I'm saying, practice the things that we want to practice with each other, and then you know what I'm saying. Eventually, we'll be ready to you know what I'm saying, go out on the limb spiritually. You know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got to that spiritual level. I mean, we some powerful people. I
Maturity.
I, I
Yeah.
was I was talking the other day, bro. I remember though, bro. I remember the feeling that I felt. You know what I'm saying? When during like times where you know what I'm saying, you in church and they're all praying. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. I couldn't imagine, oh, bro, if I've never been in a situation where I've seen men and women pray and pray towards the right direction and for the right purpose. I just couldn't imagine what would truly happen if we prayed on one accord.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of scientific examination of that process, and they say they have conclusively determined that thinking about one thing with a lot of numbers, okay, is important. Can affects something. So they're looking into that. But the people that God actually hears, okay, it only takes one. So if a bunch of us, 1,000 of us, are in God's good graces and appear right in the sight of God on our baby level, and we do it properly, like you just said, what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah,
everything is gonna happen.
You see mountains move.
That's right.
You really like that. I don't think. I think that I think that's one thing that they're fearful of.
Yeah, two more.
I think there are people with prayer, and I think they are. That's why that's why so many different churches and different organizations is to keep us from having one common goal. You know what I'm saying? I think if we have a common goal and that's what we pray for. Instead, I've been in places where instead they pray for this country. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty suicidal to me. I can't pray for the rise. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can rise if I'm praying for the rise of another nation. You know what I'm saying? That's insane.
So, okay, brother, like in the concept of working for a unified solution now, as an Israelite, I hear what you're talking about, right? Now, how do you apply that concept? Like, so if we're talking to Cube, right? Cube's like, well, I don't pray, I'm an atheist, right? So what kind of solutions can you come to with somebody like Cube, for instance? Not about prayer, but
explain it to him in his language, scientific language. You say the sentiment is the prayer. So
no, you're not going to get him to deal with prayer. I'm talking about like I'm talking about like don't try to compare. I'm talking about so he's not going to agree on prayer. So we put that one down.
I'm just focusing strictly on prayer because there is a way to communicate that to an atheist, which is positive thinking.
Yeah,
I'm with that, and we can talk about affirmations versus prayers. I'm totally with that.
Exactly.
This
totally
is
with that.
Islam, Shalom family, Brother Bernard Eastland Bay from America. What's the topic?
Shalom, on solution.
Yeah, Islam, brother. We're talking about the concept of coming agreeing to disagree at the outset and coming to unified solutions based upon what you can agree on, and respectfully disagreeing on what you disagree on.
Yeah, and what I would do as far as that, because this is how I look at it, and this may not be realistic, but to me it is. That manifest, I don't think.
Hold on, I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, you cut out for a couple seconds, Blue. What was that?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
I was saying that I think that once that process actually takes place, I don't believe that that's something that even Cube could deny because it works. Not praying as far as the following the law, right? If we're doing that and it actually works like it's supposed to, I think Cube could deny that manifestation, and that in itself that might put him in preparation for when it is time to pray. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't like a lot of the things I believe. I don't think it's necessary for me to bring to the table in order for us to receive salvation. I think that we have to do what we're supposed to do with each other, and our salvation to manifest in itself.
Right. But what I was saying is so if you say salvation to Cube, you already turned Cube off. But I like what Claim said. Is Claim's like, okay, let me talk in a language that Cube can understand, right? Cube won't deal with prayer, but Cube can deal with the positive thinking, affirmations, etc. Right? Like, so we can further the conversation instead of having being a stumbling block. Like, okay, you say salvation, I can't talk any further. Like we can talk about liberation or something like that. Or we can talk about something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? There's a common ground. Like, so I'm saying, like, when it comes to salvation prayer, there won't be a common ground with someone like a Cuban. What's the most common ground you can build with someone like a Cuban? Is what I'm trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? What's the most common? Like, so brother Bernie Bay on the panel, he just came on. He's a Moor, right? We both came from the same school of thought. What's the most common ground you can find with that kind of a person? What's the most common ground you can find with someone of the Kemetic school of thought, etc.? You feel what I'm saying?
I got an idea. Islam.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
You know me, I come from the Jacques Fresco method, you know, via the Venus Project. One thing we all do have in common, regardless of our religious practice, whether whoever put the foot forward first or we bow, knee, all of that, that's going to always be a continuing discussion. But one thing we do have in common is general access to resources: food, water, shelter, clothing, proper medicine, and education. Why don't we make something where, regardless of belief, everyone's hungry. Man need clothes on his back. You know what I mean? We need medicine, access to it. And we can kind of start from there. Maybe some type of a resource kind of thing, you know, like out here in Iowa.
100%.
They call it
that, and that's what I mean.
Right now, I can go to one of these. I just came from a place with a bag of Pampers right now, as an example. It didn't matter of my religion or nothing. Hey, you got some Pampers? I'm at you. And then from there, go ahead and throw a little pamphlet on, your Israelite demonstration, your Moorish science demonstration, your Kemetic demonstration, whatever. But hey, you put food on my back, or you know what I'm saying? You put food on the table. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Right, real tangible stuff. Exactly.
This is why I don't even think I would have to even incorporate what my belief system, because I look at it as I think it'll manifest itself once we start doing that, because those things that you are referring to, I believe those are things that we're commanded to do. So once we're doing those things, you know what I'm saying? When I say that the salvation will manifest in itself, when Malcolm said that, things don't change until the next man, when he sees something happening to the next man, it's as if it's happening to himself. You see what I'm saying? I think with that comes out, I think with the first step becomes the sacrifice that must be made because of it.
Right. And by the way, that place I came from was a Catholic organization. You know what I'm saying?
Gone. And see, because when you look at it, it's like I see it as eventually one of our generations have to make that sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm like, that's even when I'm dealing with Isaiah 53, I'm looking at it like, well, which one of these generations is gonna make the sacrifice of, okay, we're gonna go a week or so without food, just so it get better on the other side.
Yeah, somebody got to eat manna for a generation, so the next generation can have fields of food. Has to.
You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we're gonna keep bearing these iniquities.
Right.
Of mistakes that former people made for us. And we see a result of that every day even when you look at the dollar ain't backed by nothing. Nobody of this generation or the next generation to come had made that decision, but yet they forced to bear that iniquity of it. What's good? What you got? Peace. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey, real quick, we got Yashar. We got School of Understanding on the panel. We should let them speak for a little bit because we've been building for a hot second. Y'all want to jump in?
Hello?
Peace. What's good?
Peace. Yeah, I'm just listening in, man. One of the things that I really don't hear people talk about is what are people looking for in general? I mean, I think you have to pinpoint that. You know what I'm saying? And as far as you hear a lot of people talk about salvation, and many people have different understandings of what that word even means, And so before you could talk solutions, because again, I mean, I've been a part of communities that have land. I live on land on my own. I know other people who have land, but people talk about solutions wanting land, but there's people out here with those things, but people still, sitting around. So I think, people got to get a general idea of what they want before any moves could be made. And so I was just listening in.
Yeah, man, that's the problem I've been having. Like, I said, I've been around stuff like this for a long time, right? So I always try to seek out this type of process, and I always hear, you know, oh, how do we start and where do we start? Let's start and let's get it started. I'm like, hey, man, it's already going on everywhere. So all you got to do is look at with people who's doing it, and then express your improvements to them, because there's nobody that I see that is independent doing it properly. They just have the blessing of some type of inheritance where they received 1,000 acres of land or something in the United States, and they have a couple of shacks on there, you know, and they've been cut down all the trees and developed the land. So, like, what are you doing? Like, you got to get to work, bro. And then you got the most important thing about it is promoting. So if you got 1,000 acres of land right now, I heard Abbo say, I got 1,000 acres of land in South Carolina. But then, you know, you're telling people, but nobody's promoting your 1,000 acres of land. Nobody's helping you build it. But just on your land, you got $1 million properties that some white boys that came in and built on your land that you trying to fight against right now. Well, why don't you just deal with the law properly, get a part of that money or something, or recruit your own your little security force to tell them they better give you your bread if they own your property in real life. Right. You know what I'm saying?
No, Islam, I agree with that, because in a sense, I always felt deeply that whether we can be the best politically, economically, and socially, but if we ain't together morally and spiritually, long story short, as they even say, the height to his commandments, right, in the Bible, love for God and love for your neighbor as you love yourself, then those other three primary things, politics, economics, and our society, is always going to be built on the sandy foundation. I'll give you an example. Like you just said, a brother had acres, right? I even had a coffee selling business. It was Western Gales via my organization. We was selling coffee from West Africa, not even Dunkin' Donuts, right? I go to one of my Mason brothers. I'm like, hey, yo, man, you know, I'm doing this thing. I'm happy. I got this coffee, bro. You know, you like coffee. You the first person I hit up. First thing come out of his mouth. Bro, man, that's all good and all, but man, you know how people be with the heart attack and the, you know what I'm saying, the stroke and everything. So, you know, that's too much caffeine, bro. You know, I'm like, you know, my heart was hurt. Like, we started the argument. Hey. You know, we started an argument. Sorry, that's my son. We started an argument because I'm like, bro, you didn't even ask me if I had non-caffeinated. You serious? I had it in the back of the trunk. And then we start arguing. Like, no, I'm just saying. I'm like, you know, I just hung up on him. Like, that, you know, that hurt my soul. Because I feel the source of it, really, because, Orthodox. You know,
the problem was you approached them and you showed them that you was happy. You know, people don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want you to be happy. So
what he did is he forced him right against his own, like an unconscious paradigm he didn't know he was in. Right? He didn't know that he's being programmed that white ice is colder than black ice and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That whole concept, right?
Man. And then I knew to hit that brother. I'm like, bro, you always coming in the lodge with coffee. He's that brother with a mug of coffee every day, right? So he the first one I hit up, you know. And man, just to hear that, it was like, huh? You know, I was confused.
Yeah, because somebody that's drinking it every day, the people that don't drink it often, you're gonna be like, dang, what are they gonna say even worse? They're probably gonna tell me to kill myself.
Like, bro, that could have been gas money in my pocket, bro. You know?
Yeah. And let me say this. Have any of y'all ever been in a community?
No.
Okay. Yeah. See, I mean,
that's a broad question. Like, what do you mean?
Like in any type of just a community, not online community. I'm talking about living with people communally.
In short spaces, yeah.
I've been in the gated community, like in the Chicago.
Prison count.
Yeah.
I spent small stretches of time on communes and farms and whatnot.
Okay, yeah. So you understand, and like me, I spent time in a quote unquote Hebrew community. You understand, and we were practicing communal or communistic ways. And one thing that you learn is that even though you have the same religious beliefs, because a lot of people, you know, they'll talk about salvation, a lot of, you know, getting our own stuff, and it's a lot of Old Testament brothers that be on the panel. But you know, Nasi Yashuville got land in Atlanta. He an Old Testament brother, but I don't see many flocking to him. You know what I'm saying? And the point being is that when you're in a community, and maybe Orthodox, you can attest if you've been in one, is that even though I was in a community with like-minded brothers, it's still small things that divide people. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, the women would always be bickering about something, you know, and then differences with men's thinking. So it's not just doctrine, it's just day-to-day living things that come into play that separate people and divide people. And so when you're talking about a large scale, I understand we all got pipe dreams, but if you haven't even started on a small scale to understand the stuff you'll be dealing with, it's hard to think, oh, and one day we'll get this and, you know, and set up this. You know what I'm saying? It's like until you experience it, you won't realize what you're getting into.
Right. And that's what I was saying at the outset of this, like the basic rule set for this is the concept of agreeing to disagree at the outset. You know what I'm saying? Because like in those communal structures you're talking about, right? Like so typically there's always like a reinventing of the wheel of how you're going to govern things, right? Like first everyone has like equal say, and then at some point there's always alliances to get, but it always gets political at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? It always does. And so the reason why it gets political is because somebody's not either being honest about what they need, or they're stating what they need and they don't feel like they're getting it addressed, right? And so right off the top, I'm saying the way the way we're going to come to solutions in this solution league thing is the concept of agreeing to disagree at the outset, right? I'm not trying to convert you to anything. And the second part is whatever you need is okay in the group, whatever. So let's say like I'm autistic and you're blind or whatever, right? I'm going to need different treatment than you need. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like, whatever treatment you need is cool. Whatever treatment I need is cool. We both need the treatment we need for both of us to be as healthy and happy as we can be, right? And so understanding that we're people coming out of like a post-traumatic slave syndrome concept, we need to recognize we're hurt people. So whatever solution, whatever your problem is, that's fine first, right? And whatever solution you need for that problem is fine. You know what I'm saying? Whatever problem I have, that's okay that I have that problem. Whatever solution, that's okay, right? And as a community, when we get our individual problems fixed like that, we're gonna be whole as a community. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of concepts.
Yeah, what I'll add to that part of the conversation about community, right? Okay, so I'm in a couple of families. I'm in the Pretty Tony family, Pretty Tony world, and another family. That's a lot of people, right? So when we're discussing things, we're only discussing things for the purpose of making a result take place. What do we want to happen? Okay, and then we hash it out and then say, okay, well, let's go with that, and then we do it. So the bickering that you're going to experience should be kept at a minimum, right? And for me personally, I look at the words like mumbo jumbo. I'm like, what are y'all? You're not doing anything. You're just fussing back and forth. You see what I'm saying? There's no result coming out of it. There's no manifested outcome coming out of it. So that's what I focus on, is what is the result of what you're doing.
It's like if you watch like the Sonetta debates and whatnot. No, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah, like so if you watch like the Sonetta stuff and debates from like years past and whatnot, even the current stuff, right? Everyone always says the same thing. Like there's debates, there's whatever, but there's no solution at the end of it, right? And that's what I'm saying, because when you look at that structure, people are almost it's almost like we're doing colonialism on ourselves, like we're trying to convert each other to one structure. And fam, we was never one belief ever You feel me? Like we're different tribes and nations, you know what I'm saying, with different concepts, right? Like, so no matter how you look at it, we got to respect that, right? And so when we see ourselves like with the whole Sonetta thing, et cetera, right, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cool platform. I ain't tripping on it, right? It serves its purpose, right? But there's a purpose beyond what it serves that we need. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to be able to recognize that the only reason why we're beefing like this is because we're taking our ideologies as our identities, right? And so we can't progress past getting our ideologies critiqued / our identities critiqued because we're taking them personally. You feel me? And it becomes one big emotional just clusterfuck. You feel me? And that's no good for the people.
So the way I rationalize it is that to this very simple point, which is that what people want to see is a national prosperity. They want to see means of people being prosperous instead of, you know, the what do you call the people the very few people that become rich and famous. I forget the technical term that the smart people use. But you got a select few people like Oprah and the basketball players and the athletes and the actors and comedians that experience a certain level of prosperity. Like, I ran across a video, I couldn't even get the heart to watch it. But T.I. was showing that he has 1,000 pairs of shoes in his closet. So I was just thinking to myself, oh, okay, that's amazing, right? But it's not beneficial to the nation. So he could use that money for something to benefit the nation. And so that type of thinking is not prevalent at all amongst the black prosperous black people. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that's something that we can instill in them at all. So only poor people think that way. Or they, you know what I'm saying? And super duper rich people think that way. They say, man, I got so much money, I can't spend it all. I'm tired and exhausted all my desires. And now I just want to help people and spend my money on something that's going to build up 1,000 people over here and 1,000 people over there. That's all I want to do the rest of my life until I die. So, you know, that's the mentality that I have. And I think many other people think that same way. But so that's what we're actually trying to see happen. But the promotion of the bickering is more fun to them. And that's
it sells. You know what I'm saying? Like it sells, man. Conflict sells. It is what it is, man. Like it is what it is. But unity sells too, and I don't think people recognize that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sells more. Like, it sells way more. Like, what made more money? Like a Mayweather fight or Christmas? You feel what I'm saying? Like when you really compare the concepts, like when people when you talk about bringing something together versus conflict, like, you're gonna get more every time. That's the whole point of unity, is to get more, right? And so, like, my brother was talking about resources earlier, right? He likes to talk about a school of thought about the Venus Project. Hey, and Bernard, you need to talk to Suave Boss about that. Suave Boss is all about the Venus Project. He said something about that the other day. I thought you'd be interested in that. You know what I'm saying? We got to set something up on the argument league about that.
I think they want to move there. Isn't there only one location somewhere?
Yeah,
Venus.
Venus,
You said it's where?
Venus, Florida.
Okay.
Right. They deal with the concept of something called the resource-based economy, right? You want to break that down, Bernard?
Okay. Let me put the little one down real quick. You guys keep going real quick.
All right. No worries. So yeah, bottom line is, so the brother was saying the one thing we have in common is resources, right? And we all need something tangible to live on. We need to eat, we need to wear clothes, we need a place to sleep, all that kind of stuff, right? So you don't have to have an ideology to have those needs. You know what I'm saying? But even with your ideology, you need to do something with your resources. And so like I was talking about the concept of building with the Israelites on building something like storehouses and cities of refuge, floors, etc. Because in the Israelite tradition, that's that's something integral that you have to build for the nation is the pillars of the temple to the people, etc. You know what I'm saying? And they're based off of resources and whatnot. And so like feeding the poor, clothing the naked, seeing them, taking care of those in prison, etc. The fatherless, the widowed, all that type of stuff, right? And so in our current construct and economy, we can definitely see we got more than enough money. We got a couple trillion in our community. You know what I'm saying? Just in the United States, much less the world, we got a couple trillion, right? But we're not recirculating our money with each other in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I recently put up a video that me and my brother did a long time ago in April, whatever, about the Afrocentric bookstores and whatnot, breaking down the concept of in the age of Amazon, we don't recognize that we are being self-defeating in how we go about things. So, for instance, we might go to Black and Nobel, or I might go to Lem's bookstore in Seattle, and I might do a lecture there, right? But I might have my book on the shelf there, right? But at the same point in time, I also got my book on Amazon, or I got it on Hulu on a printed order site where I'm giving my people direct competition. So like Bernard was talking about, like he was selling coffee and whatnot, and his boy who was drinking coffee wasn't trying to give him none, or give him no business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Bernard was like, hey, I could have put that in my gas tank. His friend wasn't thinking about that, right? His friend was running into this whole like black ice is not as cold as white ice, and so he's just stuck in the post-traumatic slave paradigm. Like even being a Mason in a temple where he's supposed to be studying himself and dealing with brotherhood, right? He can't do business with his brother. That's crazy. That's how deep the sickness goes, right? So we have to recognize that the sickness is there, and choose to extend ourselves to our brethren and whatnot in terms of getting past the fear of doing business with each other. You know what I'm saying? Not just that, recognizing that if when I spend with my family, when I spend with my brothers and whatnot, I'm making sure my kids have a job, my grandkids have a job, that their kids have a job, that their grandkids have a job. You know what I'm saying? The couple extra bucks that we spend with each other, like, so if we buy a book, like something I talked about in the video was if doing a partial boycott of Amazon, and since use Amazon for whatever you want to, but if you want to buy an Afrocentric book, you go to an Afrocentric bookstore for it, right? Online or in person, right? Local, or if you can't get a local, you go to the Black and Nobel because it's our big national one, right? And in doing so, you might pay a couple extra bucks to start off with, right? In doing so for the book, but that couple extra bucks is going to recirculate so many times in the community. Like you're making sure that your kids and grandkids have a job doing that concept, right? But I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, we gotta. And also, I just want to add too, man. Partially too is making sure that we are controlling the things that we actually create. We got to stop throwing the kids' ideas under the bus and allowing folks to come in into our communities and then hijack our stuff and run it. So we got to make sure that we are controlling our own ideas, controlling our, you know what I'm saying, our creativity.
Right.
Because that's an issue. I couldn't imagine if you talking about if we control, and I don't mean like just like, oh, we just did the entertainment. If we had our own lane where we controlled all of our entertainment, that's enough in it. That's enough money in itself, bro. They're down there running some shit.
If we were just so the concept is controlling what you consume, right? So look at it this way, right? So for instance, I live in Washington State. Cannabis is now legal here, right? Yep. There is one African descent dispensary in the entirety of the state. There's one big African grow operation, you know what I'm saying? In the entirety of the state. In the entirety of the state.
And that make a lot of sense. Yeah. Now think about how many babies went hungry. Because that was a lot of castles were already relying on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got this guaranteed to come. This little extra $200 a month or $300 a month, whatever. Now you're taking out of the equation.
Right.
Right. You're just sitting on stuff now. It don't even make sense. That's right.
Right.
It's a tough game, man. Which I think that was a major part of the game plan, because that somewhat controls that untaxable money that they wasn't seeing. We ain't gotta go through you. We'll just go through what the
100%. Look at, but okay. So here's the part. All right. So check this out. Right. Like, so when it was getting legalized, I went to all my homies that was growing. I was like, well, check this out, fam. This is what you like. You should be getting in the door like with the medical people and trying to get your licenses together. They're like, nah, man. I was like, what you mean? Nah. They're like, oh, they won't pay me enough. I was like, bro, they won't pay you at all here in a second. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, ain't nobody finna go to you no more, man. When for the same price or more, when I can go to them and it's consistent.
Wow, you feel me? Like man, my homies was caught up, man. Like their heart broke when they had to sell their stuff at like all kind of dirt cheap prices, trying to keep up. I was like, man, I try to tell you, you could have been on the front end of this stuff, like making the legal money now. You know what I'm saying? Like and now you're making like you're struggling just to make it illegal. You know, it's like, come on now, like,
yep,
man. In the meantime, here's the part, bro. Here's the part that's killing me. Right, is like there was 3 African descent shops in my area, right, off the same block, right. But they were growing just boo stuff. They had just they were just starting off, right. You know what I'm saying? So they were just figuring out how to do everything. So everything was it was not cool, right. So they fell through. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, if my homies who had been in the game for a minute just linked up with them, right. They was going top level stuff for forever. Right? It's like, man, y'all have been cool, and y'all look alike. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could have been doing business with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the spot. It's like got blunt, got weed, got blunt. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. Like put it together, smoke.
Yep. Now you're right. Cause we'll grow y'all supply and take care of the plant.
Right.
Y'all just run the shop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That way. If you feel like you don't want to be seen or whatever it is that you don't want, well then don't be. Just take care of the green. That's what you want to do anyway.
Right. And see, the thing is like the homies, like they'd have been cool with that, right? But at the same point in time, they had the element of fear, like, oh, being above board means that I'm seen. If I'm seen, that means like I had a couple old heads like that in the family. I took to dispensaries when it took like 3 or 4 times for them to recognize like they're not gonna go to jail for going to the dispensary. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, that represents that represents us as a community. Like I can see us as a community to where we have this post-traumatic slave syndrome concept to where we're still stuck in fear of doing business with each other. Like we don't know it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like no, like we're looking for like white people to come to say, hey, you know, it's okay for y'all to do business with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we need to recognize we need to tell ourselves, not just tell ourselves, like just do it. You know what I'm saying? If we just do it.
Right, we go to the stores, we start getting like, hey, bro, there's not enough peanuts in the bag, bro. I want my money back. You know, we start getting all particular when we try to.
Yeah, but you know what? What I will say though, if there was ever been a time for you to start a black business, the time is now, because now everybody, even people who wouldn't necessarily consider necessarily conscious, even they want to spend with you. So this is the perfect time for our community to start, you know what I'm saying, presenting these solutions to it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got people creating Amber Alert. I don't know. I can't think of the name of that app. It's like a Amber Alert, but it's for, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, they never report the Black and Latino children. So
Lakeisha
it's an app for us to always be able to.
It's called the Lakeisha app.
To,
what's the name of this channel?
This channel is Unified Solutions TV.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta subscribe too. I definitely gotta subscribe.
Fam, peace,
but yeah,
bro.
man.
What's good, Yashar? What's up? Claim.
Hey, peace. What up, Swag?
What's good, bro? What's good?
Hey, we was just talking about the Venus Project, bro.
For real, that's my stuff right there, man.
Hey, I got the homie on the panel who's all about that. Bernard, this is the brother I was wanting you to talk about. I talked to Swag.
What's good, Bernard? Peace, King. Yeah. I be on Jock Fresco and that whole little movement they continue doing.
Yeah, that resource-based economy is the hit, man.
Yeah, boy.
So what is it exactly?
Long story short, bro, it's like a digital form of like the Torah-based economy. You know what I'm saying? Like where everything's in-house and it like, because if you look at the Torah, right, like everything's done in-house and it's over abundant. You get more than what you need, right? And with the abundance, you take care of those who don't have, right? And so, long story short, it's just like like doing that with advanced technology and whatnot.
It's like a organic smart city.
Yeah.
Like, dude, and this is only what they got built right now. Like the vision that he had, like cold, bro. Where it's built like an inner city, inner ring, and then it goes to an outer ring. You know, residential, garden, you know, economic, whatever. Then they got like this whole trash system where the trash gets moved out and utilized in a way. Then they got this whole transfer system like a bus or a train, but it never stops. Like,
yeah, megalith.
Yeah, it lowers
Yeah.
like the cart that you on removes itself while the train is moving in parts, and then just jumps back on when the next one comes. It's cool, man. If you look it up, Jacques Fresco, the Venus Project or whatever, it's just
Islam. Actually, I was actually like advocate for like the Illinois like group of the Venus Project. Like I was that guy people would come to. I'm passing out DVDs like I'm passing out my samples, and I'm talking about Jacques Fresco, and I'm just debating right there on the spot. Woo woo woo.
Man, strength to you, man.
It's like a real big library. But instead, you have your basic resources of food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and education. Everything's free. Because as you know, it says in both of our doctrines, well, all three of our doctrines, Quran, Moorish Quran, and the Injil, there's enough to go around. There's plenty of resources to go around. They purposely build things, which is called planned obsolescence, for things to go bad, like your phone charger or something. It ain't meant to last long.
Right.
For it. In essence, there's nothing to really be scared of because we're already headed in that direction. The wrong way, yes, because the purchasing power is decreasing while we are having more access to these resources. As an example, if you look in Walmart, they're starting to become more and more, slowly but surely, self-checkout aisles. So technology is already getting there for us to we just want to go. We want to go. There's nothing wrong to just want to move, to keep moving. We're naturally efficient creatures. We want to we're going to find a stump, to hold something up. So when it comes to labor and stuff, nobody really don't want to work, especially do something that they really don't want to do. Come on now. A lot of people.
I had to tell a girl, man, that worked at McDonald's. She like, I'm glad they got them kiosks. I'm like, dude, that's your replacement.
Man, come on.
You sitting up there all the time in the window. You know there's a difference if you go to Chick-fil-A. You don't have that.
Right.
Happiest people on the planet. They sick of that shit. So now they just gonna replace you, take you out of the equation, and you only have to deal with a machine. You don't have to worry about no attitude. No, I can't take this back. What's wrong with all of that extra stuff? I'm like, folks got to get out of their attitudes, bro. Wake up and start being happy, though, that you got whatever job that you got.
The thing is, when you know you're not working for your own advancement, it's not there, bro. There's nothing you could do about that. If you know that if you know that you're working, taking time away from your family, your bed, what you love is a hobby, to come work for somebody to get money that you know is not enough money to pay your bills, you got to come back next week. This money is gone. This money that you finna get, gone. Plus, on top of that, once you see the flip on how the CEOs and the corporate people make money off of this shit, like you can see that they can afford to pay you a lot more, but they don't. Then you sit up here and see that the scales go up. So really, I'm just working to keep a millionaire rich.
And I'll say this too. I always said this, that when one of my first job was at Checkers, bro, that was the toughest job I've ever had for the littlest amount of money. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that they that they doing now, though, they are doing a better job of actually paying them. I think they start them out at well, I don't know about Checkers. I think McDonald's starting them out at like $12 now.
Yeah, that shit sucks. That's because real grown ass people are trying to take teenagers' jobs. McDonald's was a job you got before you even finished high school. You know what I'm saying? Now we got real adults with kids and bills trying to make a career, serving burgers, cooking burgers on the assembly line, not even the manager. Like, come on, fam. So that's even a game. Like,
that's because unfortunately they're taking Jacques Fresco's idea. I see certain commercials, certain things they say, certain titles on Netflix and stuff. I'm like, okay, they're mocking. You know, they have certain characters that look like him in the face. You know, it might be a Pisces thing, I don't know, but you know, I spit it, I see it, you know. But unfortunately, they're trying to make it where the rich benefit off the intellectual idea that he came up with. I'm pretty sure there was more before him and after him, but you know.
Jacque Fresco, Jacquefresco.
He a black man or what is he?
No. He's white. He's like German or some shit. He one of them off white dudes and shit. Cool
Kind of
dude, though.
Jewish or something.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, one of them things.
Yeah.
But if you watch his what's the name, and I don't know how true this is because you know how people are, let alone white people. But he tells this story of, so I loved him. Like the dude started skipping school to learn, and that's what I was on. Like he stopped going to school and started skipping at the library to the point where his teacher called him, and the teacher was like, "Show me what you're doing, and I won't tell your parents." So he took him home, took him in his room where he had made over 50 devices, gadgets, whatever the fuck you want to call them and shit. So the dude started, you know, teaching them and, you know, showing them how to teach himself a little bit more advanced in this. Then he tell a story that he moved to this one spot, right? And they had the KKK in there. So he joined a branch of the KKK, and from the inside, convinced them not to be racist anymore. Like disassembled that branch of the KKK in that city. I was like, damn.
Yes, there is the gene. That man, I've been following this guy since 2005. He changed my thinking. Like, did you get the demonstration where he went to the island and saw that everybody was naked?
Yeah.
And when the Catholics went over there, they put the shirts on the girls.
And the girls cut holes so their breasts can hang out.
Right, because it was uncomfortable. It was something
like, what the hell is this?
Right.
Yeah.
Able to. They, you know, if you weren't using the boat, they'll take it from you. Hey, you ain't using it, you know.
Yeah,
and that's
what you get there. You get there, they'll build you a boat. But if the boat stays there, they'll come get it and give it to somebody who needs a boat. Like, okay, like that's jiggy. Then the dude was like, and his whole mentality is because he like, if I told you I got something the size of a pinhead that could light up a city, what would you say? And people are like, no, you ain't. No, you don't. He says, well, a real I forgot the word, intuitive person would ask, how do you do it? What is it? You wouldn't knock it and kick it out the door. You would ask, explain it to me then. If you say you got that, show it to me. But it's like people just knock whatever they can't conceive. So that's like, yeah, man, it's worth watching, bro, and getting the information from it. And it's cool. The dude, like he set up this whole structure, like 3D printed houses where you could build a neighborhood, and you know what I'm saying, like print a house in like 2 days, a full house.
Bro, I shared when I used to throw out the DVDs to people, and I had my little camera. You know, before smartphone, I would just record the DVD on my little camera, and little parts that he would demonstrate. Remember that demonstration about memory metal?
Memory metal.
All right, check it out. Okay, so it's in the documentary Looking Forward. Okay, and he took it was a paper clip, but it was made out of the memory metal. He unbent it and just in all little discombobulated little angles and stuff. But as soon as he applied heat to it, that bad boy went right back into a paper clip. Now, take that idea, and he said you can also do it to like silicone and other type of materials, and all you gotta do is add electricity to it. And the way we kind of used to have that in our little corner stores and stuff with little dinosaur pills, you add water to it, and then boom, you know. So it's the same thing, but on the memory metal. Imagine making little huts, little houses, dome houses, and you flatten them all. So you got all these little, you know, about 2 one-bedroom, studio-sized shaped little domes. Flatten them all out. You got about 900 of those discs. Fly over there in Uganda or whatever they need out there in the desert. Throw them bad boys out there. The sun rise up. Boom.
Yeah.
It's all, man. There's
no reason why we are living how we're living right now. No reason. We're
man, this earth has a lot to offer. the powers and the rich that be just don't want us to be thinking about these kind of ideas. And some geothermal power using volcanoes for siphoning energy. All this is putting technology as the medium between what nature is already doing. And it's just got energy up, tidal wave power, wave powers, the shores, how it goes down along the mountains and stuff. You just put a little machine there and a little tube, and the shore goes up and down inside the tube. From that suction, you put a fan in there, and come on, man, it's all about just.
That's how they built that the air conditioning in your home and stuff. On some, that's on your stomach still. Oh yeah, the little air conditioner just out of a basic, what was it, radiator or something. It was like simple shit and cooled the whole house. Then that's what I'm saying. Like, like Cube and other people be looking at like, no, we're smarter now than we were then. Like this technology that we looking at is like watching a retard build something. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you build that like that? And all you trying to do is create an engine. What is with all this waste and these components and this maintenance that you got to do on it? Like, get out of the way and let me show you how to do it.
Right. That's why you got kids in Nigeria building stuff out of stuff in garbage heaps that are like radios and engines and all kinds of stuff. Like, you don't need all that extra stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. They building cars that run on water.
Come on now.
That's
I went to your channel. I don't see the live show on your channel.
Are we supposed to be live?
Nah, we live now, but I had it unlisted. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know if anyone was going to come on.
Oh,
so I was going to build by myself. I was going to build by myself. If no one came on or whatnot. So
we'll rock with you. I just came
from
my girl went to the doctor. I just came from the grocery store. That's what took me so long to log on. I'd have been on.
No worries.
Yeah, I'd have been on. And this been called this Unified Solutions?
Yeah, Unified Solutions TV.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna make this a solution league over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, nah. See, Nah, I don't got no problem with like the whole argument league. That's my concept. I know I'm using Solar's platform and shit, but that's my baby. The argument league is my baby. Like, and I don't care who got access to the account. Like, and I don't care who uses it. Y'all can jump on this, that, and the other. But yeah. I just want to, the communication is the key, bro.
So when can we when you first started to join up, right? Like I remember there was a situation between like Lex and Bishop Eliyahu. You guys like, okay, let's do a debate right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds, 7 rounds. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they wanted. That's why I was like, I'm paying attention to the people. I don't really mind that, but I don't want it to be a debate because we're having religious. I'm not a religious person. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm spending my whole day talking over religious stuff, trying to sneak some real stuff in there every now and then. So that's what I'm on. Now, if we get to that point, then it's just another religious-based platform. And I mean, that ain't my heart, bro. I love my people and I work with y'all. And as long as y'all accept me, you know what I'm saying? And we can figure this thing out together. But I definitely want to have non-biblical conversations like this one. Without somebody saying, well, if you go to John this, it talks about John Fresco. I did stop. Just stop, man. Like,
so this conversation was started by Moors and Israelites, right?
Black people that think they're Moors and Israelites. I know what y'all are, man. And like I say, I respect that, bro. But I know what you are, whether you like it or not. No matter what.
What am I, brother, man? What am I?
Huh?
What am I?
You're a black man. You're a black man.
I can't. Hold on. So I can't at least be a blackamoor.
A blackamoor?
Yeah, we can't at least like meet in the middle on that one.
I can't stop you from being a blackamoor, but you can't stop yourself from being a black man. Like the one thing that we all are, no matter what we believe in, eat, or like to be the truth, is your melanated person. And in this system that you're in, who defines everything, entitles everything even more, you're black. Now, if we establish something and it's like, and we get the influence to be like, no, we're Moors or we're Hebrews, and then you get to the point where the outside entities look at us and say, look at those Moors or those Hebrews. If we do that, then you won. You just changed the paradigm. But that's not what's happening. You see what I'm saying? And then even with the stuff that we're doing, the Hebrew stuff and the Moorish stuff that we're doing, the Islamic stuff we're doing, we're keeping it amongst ourselves.
I'm hearing what you're talking about, right? So,
Yeah.
so we can agree to disagree on all that type of stuff. That what I'm saying is like, so you'll never stop seeing me as a black man, right? I'm not tripping on that.
Mhm.
I'm never gonna stop seeing myself as a Moor or an Israelite, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm saying.
Don't get it twisted. I recognize you as a Moor, bro. Don't get
Oh,
it
that's cool.
twisted. I
Hey, don't-
recognize. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm just saying, like, so when we at the cookout, right? Can I be a black Moor in the public setting, right? So subjectively, you know, what I'm saying I'm a Moor. Subjectively to you, I'm a black man, right? I'm saying objectively, can we share the reality of me being a black Moor?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I represent you as a black Moor. When
Okay.
when I talk to people about you, I know this one black Moor. I know this one Moorish guy. He's a black Moor. This, that, and the other. But when that shit pops off, it's gonna be all them the folks, Vice Lord, Blood, Crip, Moor, Hebrew. All that stuff is a privilege. When it pops off, we're gonna have to recognize what we all are common, and it's not gonna be black, Moor, Hebrew, or Islamic. You know, and that's just me accepting.
What's it gonna be?
It's gonna be those people, whatever. Look, those people that are of the oppressed kind, I call them black. And you want to play, you have a different title for them. I know when it pop off and they tell them people, kill all the blacks, take all the whites to the FEMA camps. I'm not gonna walk past Orthodox Moor like he's not a black, he's a Moor. Keep going. No, I'm gonna say, look, they killing all black people. You better come on. Now you can say, but I'm not black, I'm Moor. And I'll be like, okay.
Check this out.
I hear what you're saying. I tell some Muslims all the time about the fact, like when they argue over like Shia, Sunni, Sufi, like, okay, like so if the Crusades was popping off right now and the Christians was coming over the hill right now, would you be doing takfir on each other or picking up a sword? I'm vibing what you're saying.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And I can't wait. And that's my thing, man. I'm fighting under the flag of black to free blacks from the oppression of black so that we can stop using black and start using what we self-identify ourselves as. But I know I'm in a prison. So my prison number is this. Now, if I want stuff to get better for me, I have to fight for the prisoners. I can't say, well, what kind of prisoner are you? No, I'm fighting for the prisoners. I don't care about all of this. You know what I'm saying? I want them to have the freedom to do their prayers how they want, dress how they want, eat how they want. And I know y'all can't. I'm looking at y'all. Hebrews tell me all the time, well, we're not on our land, we can't abide by our laws. That's crazy because the United States should hear one person say that and say, wait, what? You can't live how your most high. Well, what do we have to do? They don't care. And I know they don't care. But they can sit up here and have mock sacrifices in public and do all type of crazy stuff and say, because this is who we, like, come on, fam, stop. Our people don't want to do nothing but walk and talk and eat like they naturally walk and talk and eat. We tired of trying to, act like you. We don't want to be accepted by, because a lot and I like when people say, oh, you talk right, you talk this, I don't get fooled by that shit. But I do see the establishment that we in. Sorry. So when I see black people going out of their way to be accepted by people who don't want to accept them, but at least if I do this, you'll tolerate me. Am I dressing straight enough? Am I walking right? Do I not use certain words and do like that? Like, should nobody have to live like that, bro? If I want to come outside and say, what's up, fam? Love you, bro. Holler at me later. I should be able to get the same job you do if I'm doing the work. But it's like, nah, I don't like your attitude because they can tell when that manager come through here and you people need to step up your work around here. I'm gonna be the one to say, what you mean, you people? So I can't be held at their jobs, But some black brothers are just let this little white woman walk around all day talking about you people. That ain't me. That ain't me.
So check this out. You might want to link up with your ambassador. You got an ambassador with an ankh on his jacket in the United Nations. The indigenous of America, right? The Abos, the Israelites, the Kemetics, and a couple other type of ideologies. They have been recognized by the UN and allowed to, come together and figure shit out in the United Nations. And so they got a round table that they hover at and talk about different things. And then, hold up now, that ain't the only thing. They be shifting money around to different groups. Like when I first saw it, they was trying to figure out who they were going to send some money to. So they were talking about the Geechees. And a couple of weeks after that, the Geechees got their money. I'm talking about millions of dollars, 25 million. Because they're established farming community. So they said, hey man, we need some money. And so that round table right there be directing money in our direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'll check into it. I appreciate it. It sounds like something, but I don't trust them people. So I know, and there's some people I will not line myself up with. So if I go to the UN, I'm not going to the UN, you know, as a part of the UN. Like the UN is I'm not. It's a separate entity that I'm trying to get to acknowledge me. I don't want to war with it. I don't want to go to war with it, but acknowledge me. I don't want to have to come sit down under your, you know what I'm saying, conditions. Meet with like I'm cool, bro. I know y'all got blood on y'all hands. Why would I want to sit down at a table with anybody I know that okayed the killing of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, and up to millions? Give me my little bit of money. I'm gonna take my little bit of money, go back to my community.
The indigenous people that have been allowed to go in there and talk and redirect money in their direction are not the UN. They new people.
You don't know none of their names and none. I'm trying to look it up now.
Nah, I only know my ambassador. His name Kajanga, but let me see how. I don't know how to look it up. If you look up the indigenous. Yeah, indigenous. Look up indigenous meet at the UN or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or look up. Damn, let me go. Try to help you find this shit. But yeah, they got money that they can redirect.
Global Indigenous Youth. No, that's not it.
I wouldn't say youth. So global. No, I wouldn't say global either.
No, these niggas is white and like two pale.
Indigenous white people. Wow. So yeah,
man, when you find some info on that, man, send that to me, bro.
I do that. Yeah, I gotta do that. I gotta look it up. Yeah,
United Nations Permanent Forum. Hold on, United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues.
That's them. That's exactly them.
United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues is a high-level advisory body to the Economic and Social Council. The forum was established on 28 July 2000 by Resolution 20,000/22 with the mandate to deal with indigenous issues related to economic, social development, culture, and environment, education, health, and human rights.
That's them.
That's them. The first meeting of the permanent forum was held in May 2002 with yearly successions thereafter. The forum usually meets for 10 days each year at the UN headquarters in New York.
Yeah, so they new people.
I appreciate
and they are the indigenous of this country with their varying ideologies. So they allowed to sit around and say, well, we need bread, bruh. Fuck what you talking about. Where is that? And then they get the bread. It's automatic.
Okay, that's cool. So you think they'll give me the bread to move all my black people to 1 or 2 states in America?
There you go. You got to have a real plan, and then boom, blam.
Oh yeah, I got a real plan. I got a real plan. They get us to ourselves so that we can influence ourselves and build our own laws. Because you know we don't. A lot of this stuff that's allowed in America, we don't play, but we are allowed to because nobody holds us accountable. Now I know if it ain't nothing but black people in this city, a lot of shit not gonna shake. A lot of stuff not gonna shake. So I don't even see us getting back to where the United States is right now without outside influence. Like real talk. I don't see people saying, how can I pay the less for something and charge the most for it? I don't see people doing that. I see black people say, man, I paid $1 for it, man. Give me $1.50. Give me $2, man. You know what I'm saying? But to be like, man, I paid a penny for this. Give me $25. Which is what's being done in every store, in every market, on every basis. Like that's weird to me, bro. You trying to pay every store I go. I'm in Indianapolis. Every store I go into is underemployed. You know what I'm saying? They won't even hire the correct amount of people to run the store properly. Where you go into a store and there's 7 people in line and it's 3 counters. and nobody's opening up the other, and this is acceptable. Nobody's getting an attitude.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like, yeah, I'd be ready to flip out in there. Like, is like for real? Is this what's up, fam? Like, man.
Yeah, that's the case. I'll be like, what the fuck? They got 2 registers open out of 8 registers.
Out of 8 registers.
And the line is going down the aisles.
Now,
and then somebody finally
now
come around.
Who is they thinking about right now? Are they trying to save them money or manpower, or are they trying to save us time? Should I be able to go in the store and come out as quick as possible? Ain't that the point?
Yep. That's why people driving past the store. That's why they losing money. You don't want to keep the registers open, motherfucker.
Yeah, but when you in black neighborhoods, there's no other store to go to. You're not finna drive all the way there. You want to go to the store up the street, around the corner, and come home. And I'm sorry for even saying black neighborhoods, because that's a lie.
Neighborhoods filled with black people that's owned by pure crackers and Muslims.
And Indians.
Crackers and yeah. And fucking exactly. Indians and the rapists.
Yeah. And guess what? You don't even know where the Indians live.
They live across town.
That's a sensible guess. But you ain't never seen an Indian coming out of their house. You ain't never been driving to the block like, oh, there go some Indian people coming out of the crib. No, their neighborhood is over there, and you got to actually go in that mug. And I've been there because I was moving furniture, and this lady she cleans houses, and the people give away furniture and stuff like that. So she'll call me and my homies like, I'm gonna take you out here, move this stuff. And I mean, these cribs is stupid, stank like a mug, smell like curry or something goofy. But you know, it'd be nice and big, and they doing their thing, working from home, got an outside. Like, man, how can they come here and do this in one generation? How is we not passing down this science? I don't care about nothing else. Don't teach me nothing else but how to get this bread in a manner that I don't compromise myself, and that I don't tear my back up. My knees aren't shot by the time I'm 50. Like, no. I'm tired of this, man. And then people sit up and say, well, the man don't work and don't eat. Define work. Because I work every day. This shit is crazy. And people are you don't even have to call the authority. The people checking themselves. Like, this is weird, man. Like, they got us to the point where we are paying to be enslaved. And we're rushing to see who can pay more to brag to the other people who paying less to be enslaved.
That goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. You know, I was just demonstrating on Ecclesiastes last night. All of this is vanity, man, and it's all vanity or struggle of spirit. You know, and in essence, it goes back to that lack of love that we have for each other. And the love that we have for the Creator too, because we have been pushed out of, as you guys know, our just connection to everything that made us strong, that therefore made us able to do those things that was in the Bible, and help each other and travel for 40 years, and to do all that together. We obviously had some type of strength, a type of bond that connected us to each other, but we don't have that, because systematically we just been chiseled away. What's that, Section 8 housing and stuff like that. But the man can't be in the house. Stuff like that has been systematically done to us. But it all comes back to me, just lack of love for self and love for the Creator. We got to return back to that source that made us who we were. And we try to do it any other way, politically, economically, or socially, then you got coons and bear winches to deal with. Then you got that. Come on now. Let's come back to planet Earth with it. Those you gotta worry about those people. You don't do respect. One of y'all might be an Asian, but I do. But you see what I'm saying? So then you got that aspect of the element to worry about. As you see, most organizations ran by our people have been shot down by our own people. But you can't, in a way, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, but you can't even blame them, because they probably got something on them that they don't want the public to know. So they go, okay, well, go in that organization, start some corruption, and then you good. You know, I'll expunge your criminal charges or whatever it might be the FBI be doing, you know, to our people that got them killing, you know, disturbing something that's beautifully going to be built, something that's beautiful that can help uplift our people. So, you know, we can blame them, but we kind of can't at the same time, you know. But I think it just comes back to the spirit of things. Like, if we don't have that understanding, that connection, and we stop the bickering and arguing about whether if it's a J or an H, it's silent, Isa, Jesus, and all that, and just let's stop looking at the finger and look at the moon that Bruce Lee was pointing at, you know, and get the lesson. I think all will be well.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the time right now, we getting penalized for actually loving each other, like we have to be willing to make that sacrifice. Because once the woman learned that man couldn't be in a house under these conditions, that should have called an all-out war. You said, what? My kid's father can't be in a house with me and my kids? I don't need your welfare then. I don't need your food unless you change that clause, this, that, and the other. Or work within the system to have it. It's ways around stuff, man. But you're right, that divide between us, which has been established and pushed because it's benefits to riding against the black community. There's no benefits for standing up for the black community. None. Your funding is going to come from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and knowing that nothing has ever been brought down from the outside, is always somebody who leaves the window open, cracks the door, tell people where this is where security changes over this, that. Like, yeah, we got to be on our people, and we got to stop making excuses and lying for them. If somebody says something that's suspect or agent-like, that has to be addressed and brought to the front. I'm not trying to be sneaky with you. I'm transparent as hell. I don't trust you. I think you would go for it. I think you would take that check. I think you would take that check and leave the door open.
On the same page, clean house.
Mm-hmm. But and I'll put it to you like this. Like I say, I may not be a religious person, a Bible-based type dude, but I am totally in tune with my Creator as much as we are allowed to. As much as I love my Creator, whatever it is, whatever is like I'm handling my business, you know. And as long as we don't step on each other's toes on that shit, we good. I can work with you. But I don't need nobody telling me, oh, you don't got the spirit, you don't hear the Most High, this, that. You don't either. I got whatever you got. No matter what I believe in, I got everything you have, and you have everything I have. So I think people need to get out. You know, like, ain't no, just don't do that. That's divisional, man. Don't do that. That like that whole, you said, oh, it's a J, it's an H. Who's talking about this? What are you gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? That's a privilege that I would like for us to have, to just sit back and study stuff from 2,000 years ago. But we need to learn right now in order to help us for the future. But we're in a circulatory argument that's over 2,000 years old. And we're homeless. And we're hungry. And we're abusing each other. Mothers to children, fathers to children, sisters to brothers. Like, come on. What you want to do? Because I want to help us.
Why are you pushing in the fucking?
What's up, Blue? What's wrong, man? Who frustrating you now?
Oh, my fault, bro. I thought I was muted up.
We ain't put no sriracha in the baby's mac and cheese again.
Hey, you might see this shit. I'm in here first.
Hey, that was funny. Yeah, no, but the issue between us, man, like I say, man, I feel. It's my thing. I'm not gonna make a definite what we need to do, even though I would die on this. Like, we need to drop everything else and get back to us. We need to drop everything and come together and find out what we are. Like, okay, bet. This what's up. Because we not all the same people, but we forced to be in the same box. Knowing we not the same people. We are 100% sure that different strokes for different folks, and all just because we look alike and this, that, and the other, take on the same. When it comes down to the core of what you are biologically made up to do, there's a difference that has to be recognized no matter what you prefer. If Claim needs to eat vegetables, he needs to have full access to those vegetables. I don't care where they grow at. I don't care where they grow at. This is what has to be the priority, man. Because our relationship with the earth comes from our diet, what we eat. When you communicate with the trees, touching them, walking with them, eating the food from them, exchanging gases with them, that means something. I don't know if that don't mean nothing to nobody else, but that means a hell of a lot to me. I see what the Creator created and provided for us here. You don't need nothing. It's all right here. I gave it to you. You can't go nowhere else. You are forced to stay within what's provided for you. It's like we itching and scratching to try to get away from it. Like spend all day in concrete structures with iron rods through them. 80% of us don't even have plants in our house. Walk right out our house, get right in our car, and drive past everything that the Creator gave to us.
Shalom, I always wonder why there ain't no plants and fruits in the front lawn.
Thank you. Thank you. That makes sense. That makes sense that you have something edible growing in that heals you, not kills you. That heals you, no matter what you believe in. A Muslim, an atheist, and a Hebrew can walk into the same tree, get the same food, and get the same nourishment. So
there you go.
So who's blessing and cursing them? Where is the curse? If you were against the Most High, when you grab for that fruit, it would burn you. It's there. The judgment has already been made here. Just when your body is no longer able to contain your energy, be ready. Just be ready. I don't think a lot of people is ready. I'm ready. Like, I want to live as long as possible, but I swear I can't wait to die. I can't wait to die to see what's on this other side, because I know I'm getting this right despite what's going on around me, because it's easier to be a worse person, man. Like, people be way more worse than me and get way more respect. I don't even want that. I just want to be accepted and loved for me, bro. That way, it's not fake love, because I'm not faking with you. I'm not coming up here acting like, oh, let's go to Genesis and then turn on Leviticus. I'm going to bust your head, but do the run. Like, no, bro. Now, if you fucks with me, that's because you fuck with me, not what you would like to think I am. And that's how I want to be with y'all. That's how I want to be with y'all. Right. I don't know, man. It's like people be looking for the props from the wrong people. Like, who do you want patting you on your back? You got 20 people that's full of shit congratulating you because you cussed some dude out. Or you got 2 people, your girl and one of your homeboys that see, man, I see what you did, bro. That was very honorable. Like, you could have tore him up. But instead, you gave him a gift and moved around and left it up to him to be like, that's not the person I'm supposed to be beefing with. There's no way I'm supposed to be beefing with that person. But you know, when somebody throws a stick at you, it's like, I'm taking the stick and I'm throwing it back. Nobody wants to just be like, okay, all right, watch.
Man, like, Shalom, like, just a camelback on that. And, you know, Orthodox, I always use this analogy a lot. Marcus Garvey stated that who we look up to as our forerunner in our thing. But anyways, he said, knowledge rules the world. Ignorance carries the burden. And I took that statement, and one day I was meditating on one of our hieroglyphs, the pyramid of Giza. And if you observe the pyramid, that's all of ours. We are no Merkabahs, all that. That's all of ours. And you look at the top, as you move up at the top, you see less stones. So like even pimps used to say back in the days, like it's lonely at the top, you know. And even for us as righteous people and all of our doctrine, it has always been lonely at the top, spiritually. And so the ignorance is what we see is going to always outweigh the righteous. I don't know. Well, one of the reasons that I got out the Quran was that we will allow these kind of people to exist to test the faithful by reminding us, one thing, like I like how you said, like, I want to live as long as I can, but I can't wait to die. This is not our destiny in a sense. This is all just a game, So like
No, bro.
as a spiritual friend, as a spiritual friendly reminder, this earth it's not our it's not the final frontier. Our home is back to the heart of the creator who goes by many names. Our home is back to the creator that has many mansions. But this is just all part of the test to test our faith. How we got here, I got a nice little demonstration on that, but pretty much, that's a whole nother conversation. But I'll just take it short. We chose to come here as humans. We chose to come here and take the test. And this is just the test that we got to deal with, And Satan is the one, and in my demonstration, Satan is the one that is the Khalifa of this earth. As it even mentions, it even says prince of this earth in the Bible, meaning a couple times. So that's why he is the one that is able to push vanity at anybody who try to really make this world a better place. He'll come out of nowhere. Hey, you're gonna want something, fame, honor, money.
I don't want none of that shit.
But we don't. But you know what I'm saying? The majority, the ignorance, carry the burden. They carry that burden. Get out. They carry the burden of that vanity and that struggle of spirit. They're not as fortified as the very few of us. So it ain't up to no one else but just a few of us. And I think that is a unified solution. It's like 300 took out 3,000 or something. There's all type of books like that. One man can, the way of the Bushido. One store can cut 10,000. I think that's the solution. There's ministry in that. It don't take a lot to make a doesn't take a lot to make a light bulb. Islam.
Yeah, I agree. And they said it's never been more than a few people that ever changed the world. It's never been a gigantic group of people that changed the world. It's always been a room full of people who decided to come together under one thing. Now, it influenced more and more people, but those people weren't there in inception. They were the people that was called in the vision. I know that results will persuade a lot of people. Once our results start coming in, I won't have to worry about a lot of people. They're going to come. All we need to do is have room for them to exist. And they're going to jump right in line and do what they need to do. Okay, you said I need to do what now? Like, yeah, I know my people, man. I see us. I know my people. I really look, even when we be on this panel, the way that we treat each other, talk to each other, this, that. I'll be looking at like when Claim or let's say when I come in the room and it look like something's wrong, whether my shirt is buttoned the wrong way, one side is hanging longer than the other, or my pants a little too tight on some fashionable shit, my brother's gonna jump on me. That's law. We didn't have to talk about it or nothing. As soon as I came in the room, everybody looks at, nigga, if you don't take them to start eating, that's law. That's what our people do. Something is incorrect, we're all finna let you know to correct that. In a loving fashion. It's at your expense. I'm definitely gonna get some laugh. But bro, don't do that no more. I got you. Now we know. That's how we move. If the last Bible on earth evaporated, our people will be able to write that Bible again next year. By next year. Because it's in us. It came from us. Those words didn't come from the stars. Those words came from men. But it's like we want to get it credit. It's like, oh, but those men were talked to or touched or this, that, and the other. Like, bro, I sit on this panel and I hear brothers spit biblical game all day. And it's not in that book. And I'm like, that needs to be in the Bible. What you just said, we need to write a Bible and put that in there, man. So that's what I'm on, bro. Whatever you want to do, I'm not trying to, and that's something I'm very cautious on because I know that black people can be taken advantage of, and just like Orthodox said, well, I'm a blackamoor. Well, I got to be cautious of that because I know you're more, but you say you're blackamoor. That's playing on the ignorance of blacks because it's always the Christians come, the Hebrews come, no matter what it is. It's like the black people will go. The black people can be manipulated. So let's show them a little love. And then, when we turn around, well, yeah, we blackamoor, but the more is more about the more. It's not really, so you're going to have to relinquish that. Like, look, if you not black, Leave black people alone. Let black people do for themselves. Because every time we start to build something, if I turned around tomorrow and got with a whole bunch of people that said, man, we need to do something for us, and we did it, my religious brothers and sisters will come and bless that and say, look what God did. So I can't take that away from you. But don't try to corner out what I'm doing. I don't believe that we have the resources to know the name of the creator. Saying the name of the creator is filth. Trying to even give him or it sex, to call it him or her, or white or black, English or African, up, down, left, right, whatever. Like, just when it comes to the creator, you know where you're at. You know what's been provided for you. You know what to do. Let's do it.
If I'm not mistaken, when Jesus said in the Lord's Prayer, hallowed be thy name. Come on now.
Yeah, and that's common sense to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to get that preached to me. I just sit back and I think, and I know, like, you cannot do what you're doing to your child with the creator. That's like your child being born and then turning to you and say, your name is Joseph. Think I made you. How you gonna tell me what I am and who and what my role is? I made you. Like, you hear, he giving you all of these things to love the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the animals, the rivers, the grass. It's an infinite amount of stuff for you to love. Why are you trying to come here? Let me give you a hug. Like, don't you understand what it is? Don't you know every motion you make is a praise of the creator? Don't you know when you flex your elbow, do you know what happens in order for your elbow to flex? Do you first, like I was talking about last night, just to inhale, you're soaking in the creator, and it's going into your body and providing for your cells and that's more than just, you may think of it like that, but that, like, you cannot disobey the creator. You cannot disobey the creator. Everything that you are lined up to do is your choice, but you can't get your oxygen any other place than where the creator told you it come from. Your water, your food, your mate. You cannot make a baby with nothing other than what the creator gave you to make a baby with. Those are laws, not preferences, not privileges, not luxuries. No matter what you believe in, you have to have sex with a woman. A woman has to have sex with a man. We both got to trade with the trees. We all got to get it from the streams. Mom, like, when is that going to start being the law? When is that going to be our focus on how we rule our people or dictate how our people live? Because I don't believe in rulership. It's like we passing up all of the fucking stuff that is concrete and going off this privilege stuff. Well, I would like to face east when I pray. Why? Why? Tell me why. And it's like, this is how I have to live my life with my brothers and sisters, just to eat, just to get a place to stay, something that the ant has, something that the roach has.
Oh.
If we don't, we're going to really have to put our kids in a better position than where our grandparents put us in. I appreciate our grandparents doing everything they did, because they went through the muck. We didn't go through shit. All of our grandparents that had to go through slavery or, sharecropping or segregation or discrimination, like, who sat through all of that madness while white people civilized themselves, that's who you owe that to. Now, you're that for the people that you will never meet. You'll never meet your great-great-grandkids, ever. But you better damn well do something to make it better for them right now. That's what we need to be focusing on. I understand the story that I'm hearing when people tell me this stuff, But I know the Greeks did a woo wop the bam on us with some sensible, logical stuff. But it was created by the Greeks. You can't trace it back no further than the Greeks. It hasn't been out of anybody's hands but the Greeks. Nobody has had this stuff but the Greeks since its inception. The Septuagint, the Sinaiticus, the Vaticanus, all of these codexes, all of the stuff that you're talking about in Greek. So who made them? The Greeks. Look at the Greeks, who they are now. The Romans now. They still have it. They still have it. So you tell me, when did we ever get a chance to learn the truth? If they gave it to us and held it and murdered anybody who tried to do anything with it. Anybody. Women couldn't even teach their kids the Lord's Prayer in English. They would burn them. Wycliffe got his bones dug up and crushed in the dust 40 years after he died because he translated the Bible into English. I want to know, at what point did we trust the Greeks? That's what I want to know. At what point did we trust the white Greeks? I don't want to hear, well, you know, the first Greeks were black. I want to know, when did we ever trust these people that wrote these things down and said, this is what we said? Even though we find another papyri and it contradicts it, we find another papyri and that's not the translation. Then they openly admit in the decree, where now we're just going to change stuff. Not translate it, change it. This is public record. We had a meeting to change the Bible. All the way from the Tinsdale to the Great, to the Geneva, where they took the Romans out, to the King James. Where these people are saying that the Pope is ordained by God to write this stuff.
So what's the benefit of the conversation?
The benefit of the conversation is to put stuff in perspective for us. To like really take this tooth that really hurts so bad out. Like, if you have a personal relationship with God, have a personal relationship with God. But I know you're misrepresenting the Creator. I know you know that.
So the whole purpose of this league over here, right? The premise that we were building off was the concept of, so again, like taking something Malcolm X said, but taking it times two, right? Like, so Malcolm X was like, he was talking about like, leave your religion at the door, right? Mm-hmm. Of the conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I rock with that 100%, right? But I also take that one step further in the sense, and the point of this league is also to do this, is the fact that when you walk back out that door, the people who have a religion are going to pick it back up, right? Mm-hmm. So if they pick it back, when they pick it back up, they need to make sure they're not practicing it from a colonialist mindset, right? And whatever morality system that they practice or spiritual system they practice it in such a way that brings them back home and brings them in unity with the people they're trying to work with, and not in conflict with the people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for instance, like, mm-hmm. so I got one homie who says, like, the first thing we should do is we should have a conference on what we call ourselves, and I tell him I'll never show up. And he's like, well, why is that? I was like, bro, because, like, agree on one name. We're not one people. Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna happen. We'll fight until the end of time over one name instead of build anything, right? Instead of agree to disagree at the outset, like you want to call yourself. I'm gonna call myself whatever. Our guys, that somewhere along we're the same people, because we went through, in the sense that we went through the same system of slavery, etc. We're in the diaspora now, etc. And we're unified off that concept, right? I can rock with anybody off that, right? This is like if you tell me I can't call myself, are you going to tell somebody who, like, so I'm also Senegalese and Nigerian. Are you saying I can't call myself that too? If we're going to argue over names, it's just ridiculous, right? We all agree we're in the same situation, though. We need to agree on a problem and a solution. Damn a name.
Yeah, because these terms are privileges. Because as soon as we name ourselves, a white group will come with the same name, and now what? The stuff that we recognize ourselves by are things we cannot change. Our diet, our geographical makeup. That's it. Do you eat what I eat? Does it do the same thing to you it does to me? Then we are related. If you eat fruit and the fruit heals you, we're related. If you eat fruit and the fruit hurts you, something's wrong. If you have to genetically modify food, if you have to get blood into your system, if it's certain, like, we're not related. There's a different relationship. that we both got to honor. I don't care what you call yourself, but when you call, but it's just like this. When you term yourself something, it's like this. When I came to the argument league, it was like when I came to the Solar Vision debate league, it was like, well, what are you? I believe we haven't had the privilege to study that. So yeah, I get it. The terms and stuff, whatever, man.
It don't matter, fam. Like, so check it. At the end of the day, I don't care what your spiritual system is, what your moral system is. I just, can you explain it to me? Can you tell me so I know what to expect from you, right? If we're out here in the muck and mire, and I just want to know what to expect from you in whatever situation, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, so as long as as long as we can break down moral codes and we can at least talk on that level, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm straight with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so earlier we was talking about Blue was talking about prayer, right? And I was saying like, okay, now how will we bridge the gap about talking about prayer with someone like outside the queue, right? Or out the queue, right? So Claim was talking about like positive thinking, and I brought we wouldn't pray with
up, bro. You breaking up real bad.
Positive affirmation. Hold up.
If I may, Islam, like I say I am religious, but I am also scientific, and it even says to use science so that your life may be useful, and use religion so we can have a happy death. You know, how we plan on living in life to me should be more scientific than religious, because on the science, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. You know, and if I'm not even mistaken, it even says in the word that the letter kills, but the spirit lives. And it kind of went back to, I think we were all also saying, I'm just camelbacking, that we get all caught up in, is it a J, is it an H, is it silent, and who came first, and that then we lose in the letter. It's that letter. It's killing the progress. It's retarding results. But if we use the spirit of the matter, as I like to speak from, like I said, Jacques Fresco's spirit, you know, that the common heritage that we all have in common. If you got one ear or 2 ears, everybody got to eat. Everybody got to need shelter, clothing, proper medicine, and education. What if it gets anything outside of that? Really, you're getting right back to the letter, other than the spirit of we all have in common. Transportation, resources. At the end of the day, after we done arguing about atheism or creationism, we about to go in the building, turn a light on, use a toilet. We don't argue about that.
Thank you.
We don't argue about the toilet.
Thank you.
But we do use it, and we don't have that in common. And I think that should be one thing we should really kind of circle in on making improvements in those 5 areas. Going back to the resource distribution, like I just said, I just came from a Catholic organization to grab a little shopping bag full of Pampers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think
you breaking up, bro. What you say? Damn.
Medicine and education.
Hey, can you repeat that? Because you was breaking up. You was boring out. Can you hear me, bro?
I think, long story short, as long as practice controlling what we consume, you know what I'm saying? At the very least, controlling what producing what we consume and controlling what we consume.
And what is our use? What is our usage of money? Like, how do we use the monetary system? You know, like like, is money to make sure that you are accepted by other people materialistically? No, it's not to go out there and buy a brand new iPhone or a pair of Jordans just so that people think, hey, better of you. Like if you're getting money, your money needs to have a purpose behind it other than just returning to the people you just earned it from. Like, if you are jumping into that demonistic game of the monetary system, at least burn your soul for a reason. Like, don't have it so that it's just like, so that's important. The mindset where people are no longer even attracted to these things. Like, why would I buy a burger from McDonald's? That's crazy. Like, we need to be looking at stuff like that. Not, I'm gonna stop at McDonald's right quick, give me something. Like, no, you're gonna cook it home. You're gonna cook it home. You're gonna feed your own family. Like, stuff had to start making sense for us within the next 10 years. Stuff has to start making sense for us. And I know it's a lot of people out there doing stuff, and that's why I'm glad Orthodox more, you're in rotation, but Bernard's in rotation, because this stuff needs to start being expressed and utilized. People need to just stop hearing Orthodox more saying something that is an advancement and an improvement in our life and then gone about their business. Like, no, that man just said something. What is wrong with you? He just said a hell of a lot. And when I hear stuff like that, I'll jump on it. Orthodox boy, like, trust me, you have to tell me, leave you alone. Because if I hear you say something, I'm going to hit you in the back chat. I'm trying to get your personal information. I'm trying to move. I'm messing with claim on that land in Uganda. In Ghana. I don't care how nobody feels about it. I'm messing with anonymous on certain things. Don't care how nobody feel about it. It's just, I don't look at this chance on YouTube right here to just get views, bro. I know that I'm a great person, and I'm getting ready to meet some great people. And that's what y'all are. I listen to all of y'all, even to Cube. Even to Cube. I give Cube the link every time he asks for it. Even though I know he's going to come up there, say some horrible things about black people, say some beautiful things about white people. But in the midst of all of that, I'm going to get, oh, snap. I never even thought about that from that side, or it's like when, like me, I was raised in Gary. Until I left Gary, I didn't know nothing else existed. If I would have known that at 11 years old, I would have sold everything I had, and y'all have never heard of me before. Again, you know what I'm saying? It's like I really thought that the whole world was a crack-infested liquor store on every corner type. Hey, go to school if you feel like it, but if you don't, just go kick it in the abandoned building type of world. This is sad, bro. It's sad, and I'm 40 years old. And I guarantee, I'm letting you know, I don't feel 40. So y'all in trouble. Because I definitely feel 20-something. But in reality, I know I got about another 40, 50, 60 years left. Some got to get done before we leave. Before we leave, something has to concretely be done so that our kids can say, let's do that. Because what our kids are choosing right now, what we as kids was choosing, because I'm not going to sit up here and say I was the worst person in the world. I wasn't. But the environment I was in, I could have been and got more. I could have been a lot worse person and got more. So we going to have to really step our game up, man, and do some concrete. Like, I've been asking for months, like, can we put a t-shirt together? A wristband? I just want to see that people could come together and do something. Anything. I just want to be able to get on this YouTube thing and see everybody with a wristband on that we designed, paid for, and so.
Hey, Swab, what size you wear?
A 3X.
Say no more.
Man, I and it's just that, man. I want to see us do anything. I just want to prove that us men can get on here and do anything as a whole. That's what I'm waiting on, man. That's what I'm waiting on. So, my whole thing right now is drop the ball, pick what state or two, and I'll ask y'all opinion on that. If you give a hell to even give it to me, what location in the United States should we migrate and concentrate our numbers in? So those who need jobs have jobs. Those who need to go to school, go to school. I would prefer the jobs be online jobs that you don't have to leave our community and come into contact with outsiders and stuff like that for multiple reasons. Take that money, establish some type of system of electricity and water, because I'm willing. I know this scares people in 2018, and I know it's not necessary to do, but I'm willing to go back to log cabin style type stuff. But I know that we're more advanced right now that we could still have electricity and water. I'm just willing to make a greater sacrifice if that puts our kids in a position where they're using their resources. I don't want the best deal from somebody else. I want to establish our own power grid, our own water filtration. I wanted to have our own satellite in space, establish our own internet, and have our own cell phones where we ain't being charged for nothing by nobody. Like, it's that much of a threat. Sure, you want to text me for the land because I can't buy the land and I don't feel like going to war with your military. I'll do that because we making guap and it's not going back into rotation to buy Jordans. You know what's going to happen when we get enough money. We're buying more land to establish more people. Establish trade with the outside because this trade, we so creative. The stuff, like I could sell pictures of Michael Jackson house to Chinese people. They're crazy about Michael Jackson. Send me a picture of you. I'll put out a life-size cutout, put it in front of Michael Jackson house and send it back to you. And you got a picture of you and your family standing outside. Do that. Now, with that being the dumbest idea I ever heard, guess what else we could come up with and charge people for? We have hella talents. Once we open up this trade with outsiders, not white people, that's a given. Talking about other countries, form a trade with them. That will establish a relationship. Once they see you're not a gaffler and a scammer.
I'm saying, what's up with trading within the diaspora at the very least, right? Like, so I was talking about earlier, like I live in a state where for instance, cannabis is legal, right? So for instance, it's legal to grow and certain things like that in Jamaica, right? All that kind of stuff there, right? Like, how can we link up with our people in, like, let's say West Africa through Jamaica in an American and link everything up in some way, shape, or form, right? Those kind of things there. You know?
That's what I'm trying to do. Is like I said, at first it might have to be, but we do got brothers over there like Clan. We already got brothers that's over there. But a lot of times it got to be some great, crazy, goofy stuff that you're able to sell and they get it. But once you sell it to them, you're able to establish a relationship. Where I got some more serious stuff because a lot of time when some come from the black man, it's like once they see you getting serious, well, as long as you selling rap, that's crazy. They know they ain't got no plan. But once they see you start selling and asking, so yeah, we need to do that. We need to. That's what I'm saying. Like we're trading here because there's only so much money in rotation in the United States. Our thing is to get that out of their community into ours. So we have to sell to whites. Setting up trades with people in Jamaica and certain parts of Africa. I'm talking about selling their goods over here as well as selling our goods to them.
100%.
Is this whose page is this or whose YouTube page is this?
This is mine and a brother of mine. This is a Unified Solutions TV. It's basically going to turn into the Solution League kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because I was trying to see. I didn't know who it was.
So once we establish that trade route, the relationship.
In order to establish an international trade route, we got to have an established nation, meaning a title.
Brother, I could buy some right now, put it on Amazon and sell it to people in China. Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're talking about building a nation, none of this conversation is needed. We're jumping to building a nation. Don't you know we're in second grade right now? You're talking about a college degree. I need to make sure we get our feet. We know how to walk up the street straight, bro. Like I get it.
If we can walk in, if we can walk together.
What you just said was something individual. An individual we all individually, we can go and do things by ourselves with different other people.
Whole, bro. But I'm saying, okay, go ahead.
It's all good. Go ahead.
You're both right. You're both right. Let me break down why. Like, so what we need is the concept of nationality and principle in action. You don't need the name, right? Like, so for instance, you might not know the name of whatever outside community is coming in your community and buying up stores and buying up whatever, right? You might, are they Pakistani? Are they Punjabi? Are they Hindu? Are they Indian? Whatever. You don't know. Are they Korean? Are they Japanese? Are they Vietnamese? You don't know. You might not necessarily know that you really know the people, right? But you can see them moving as a unit, right? And so what they disrespect about us is they don't see us moving as a unit. Whatever we call ourselves don't matter to them. If they saw us moving, like when they see us, like Suave talks about, when they see me and Suave standing next to each other, that we're black to them, right? No matter what country they come, like they're taught that we're black, so we're black to them, right? So whatever, you know what I'm saying? I might not subscribe to that. You might not subscribe to that, whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is, can we move like a unit? Because once we move like a unit, they start treating us like we move like a unit. It's a whole different concept. You know what I'm saying? It's like in jail, we get the least amount of respect, right, out of all the different racial groups because we don't get each other's back. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone else does. You know what I'm saying? Like, So we just got to start moving like a nation, no matter what you call it. Like I'm saying, if we try to have that argument about what do we call ourselves, man, like we're never going to agree. It ain't gonna happen.
Or we could.
That's one of them things. Like, again, one of the main concepts, the cornerstones of this league is we're gonna have to agree to disagree at the outset, right?
Exactly.
Agree to. What can we agree on? You know what I'm saying? We agree we need to move together. Okay, so that's nationality. You're getting the concept, right, of nationality in action. Cool. There'll have to be like a unified name for like a corporation or a NGO, whatever. You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff, right? You can like there'll be names that get unified on, right? But in terms of like a nationality, bruh, we weren't one nationality coming over here.
And
our people trying to come together and realize we can't, y'all agree?
We can't hear you, bro. I think your star might be drowning you out.
You just talk to my queen on what this.
Okay. And yeah, Shar, I recognize what you're saying, but my thing is this: I recognize this already as a nation. I see who is a nation within a nation. It doesn't take me to title nothing to write it down on paper. I see that group of people is a nation.
Right, exactly.
Now, whether you do it the way the federal principle established for you to do it, I'll trust y'all with that. I will trust y'all that y'all partnered with whatever entity, and I will trust that you do not put me in a situation where I will have to murder at all. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, this is not if I do something individually and Yashar do something individually, everybody else do something individually and earn money, and then collectively put 100 of that in a pot. That's moving together. I did something individually, right. Yeah. But we're doing things individually because we're not the same person. We have to do things individually to do something as a whole.
Right.
So here it is. Everybody 100. Did everybody 100 come in this month? Yep. Everybody 100 came in this month. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Now
the UNIA did it, right? The UNIA did it, had no issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be of different ideologies and work together. It just shouldn't be. It should as long as we got the one name and the one destiny, right? What's the issue?
Man, we could draw out of a pot for a name. I don't care. Our only reason I'm using black because one, that's what the dominant system that I'm in.
No, I didn't say name. I said aim. Like one God, one aim, one destiny.
Aim. Okay. Yeah. That's that. And and just to, even though it wasn't your point, I like black because that's the one time our people grabbed a word and said, okay, we get the game now. Black no longer means that. It means this. And when white people hear that, it shakes them. You know what I'm saying? It reminds them of what their grandparents would do, what their father saw as a child. Like, yeah, it got ugly for a second. And I don't see no other movement doing that, ever did that. So, I mean, it's that we already got like a kind of a foot in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when they come with the new Black Power. No, Black Power. Ain't no need to say it's new. It's as not like the ancestors are no longer here. We're here. We guide this. And when we're gone, our children will guide this. I'm not trying to do it just like Fred Hampton did it. Fred Hampton was trying to do it at that time for those people. I'm taking the same stuff in his honor and I'm moving, man. So, okay, that's that. So the trade with other people outside of our country, like I said, will establish a relationship and allow us to go to other countries physically and not be looked at as scammers or whatever the white man portrays on TV, because they've been trading with us and they see we pay 15 cents for something and charge them 45 cents.
Right. And right now, the African Union is looking at us like so they literally. I don't know if y'all know this, but they've literally deemed us as part of the African Union in a sense where like we're the outside part of the outside zone. They've deemed the diaspora part of the zone of the African Union. You know what I'm saying? Like so, there's like a slow recognition of and a slow reclamation of us in a sense, right? Like even to the point where like people like hating them were like applying for statehood within the African Union. You feel what I'm saying? So man, like they're even talking about having like international visas, etc. for people in the diaspora going into the African Union, so we can just go wherever we want to in Africa and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so
Ghana been offered like dual citizenship.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about like a universal joint that you can different zones in Africa that they're talking about. But yeah,
my point is
I know that. Yeah.
How does this news not blow your fucking phone up?
One, bruh, and that's why we're having the conversation now, because we're not. I don't hear it nowhere. You feel me? I don't hear it. Like I'm talking to the heads. I'm talking to the heads in the UK about it, but nobody here. You feel me?
Oh man.
So that's the whole point. Like, and that's the point of the Solution League is like, so what we're used to is this whole Don King stuff, to where we gotta do some Mandingo shit, to where we're doing some slave fighting against each other just to entertain ourselves now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing battle rapping it like for ourselves now. It's crazy. Come on now, like we can do entertainment, yes, but we don't have to like attack ourselves for this stuff no more. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're trained to do. That's what we're trained to do. You know what I'm saying? At this juncture, let's how about we make our liberation our entertainment? How about that?
We make our liberation our what? Our entertainment?
Yeah, how about that? What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Why is our self-competition our entertainment?
Because the brothers from the UK posted that etymology entertainment in the back. So I looked at it and I looked it up, and it means to keep in a certain mindset. So just like we say it all the time, yeah, man, they getting you used to seeing certain shit, hearing certain stuff that dumbing you down, soften you up to it. That's keeping you in a certain mind state. If they showed you movies and commercials that every time a black person did wrong, all black people jumped on it, how do you think we will move? Because they're letting you
right. How come we don't have an ADL? All that kind of stuff. All them type of things there, right? So again, this is like we can't expect no one to take us more serious than what we're taking ourselves. So like if we consider and say, okay, why don't we have an ADL, our version of it? Like, from now, everyone within the sound of my voice is now responsible for that. Because we all get the importance of that. Like, if Swab says, okay, we need to establish a certain kind of trade, okay, we're all not responsible for that, because we're grown and we understand the importance of that. We understand, like, we hear babies in the background of this conversation. You feel me?
Yep, fatherhood.
We're responsible for them.
Yeah. I'm trying to find something that I can link that to, or that I guess they're gonna call this African Americans, part of the African Union.
They literally just call us like the diaspora, because it's everyone in the Caribbean. Even if you're Brazilian, I believe, and you consider yourself like Afro-Brazilian, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that even applies. But they're talking about like everyone who's African outside of Africa.
African Union ambassador calls for closer ties with African diaspora.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna check into it, and I'm gonna
check out the population of the diaspora. You feel me?
I know, bro.
The actual group, like, fam, it's an interesting chunk.
And when they set up here, we looked up the definition for barbarians. It was anybody that's not Christian, Greek, or Roman. I think they said Greek, Roman, or Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That's the definition of barbarian. Anybody that's not that. Like, that's crazy. In your face.
Like, Yashar, I think he wanted to, like, just camelback. I just wanted to kind of hear, you know what I'm trying to say? I think somebody else has had something to kind of throw on the panel.
Nah, he likes to keep his mic open while he work in the back. So it looked like he coming in to talk. Yashar, go ahead.
See, you sure you're trying to build?
No, bro. I said my piece. I would just, I just thought, you know what I'm saying, when it come down to it, bro, you know what I'm saying? We know everybody by a title. There's no need for us to be moving without one. But I understand where you guys are coming from, and I understand where your aim is, and it's not necessarily that. So
what title would you give us, bro?
It's not even about what I would give us. It's about what we would come up with collectively.
Okay, I'm with that, because there's definitely gonna. So I'm all about this too, right? Like, so just because I don't like the concept of having the conversation, I also respect the fact that there's going to be people who want to have that conversation, right? So I'm with that, right? Like, so, like I said, like part of the principle here is like give everybody the solution that they need, and whatever they need is okay, right? So for people who need that conversation, I'm with that. Like, so if we're gonna have that collective conversation real quick, well, like, how would you kick it off?
I would simply say we need to go back to what our ancestors called us. That's what I would say. So however you see yourself, or however you find yourself when you look back into history, or dealing with our so-called ancestors, then you bring that to the table. and then we rock from there.
Right. Okay. So how would you feel about this concept? Because logistically speaking, different people are going to identify. Like, so I like everyone's taking DNA tests now, right? Like, so I can say like I'm Senegalese, I'm Nigerian. People can say they're Ghanaian, etc. Right. So what if they identify as something like that, and they don't and they don't want to identify as whatever you want to identify as, right? Like, so what about the concept of like an empirical name? Like, so for instance, one of the reasons why I dig the concept of the name Moorish, right, is because the name Moorish, and I'm not putting this out there as a submission for a name, I'm just saying conceptually, right, is the fact that Moorish covers an empire to where like you can have many nations and tribes underneath that, to where you can have lingua francas, all that type of stuff, to where you can still keep your local affiliations, your local tribal stuff, your cultural stuff popping, you know what I'm saying? But there's national concepts on top of that, right? That unify you, right? Like, so how would you feel about the concept of everyone like identifying as whatever nation tribe they want to, but subscribing to an empirical name for whatever you want to become?
Me personally, it's not again, you know what I'm saying? This is where we talk about our own personal opinions and personal feelings. And me, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't look at it as something that I see as something the way Yashar see it going, right? So I'm like this. Majority wins. So I bring my title to the table, you bring yours to the table, so I bring his to the table. Whichever one has the most people's vote is how we rock.
Man, I tell you now, I'm willing to concede on man.
And that's just and that's a collective thing, right?
You
know what I'm saying?
Hey, Islam, what about the way that Tariq Nasheed threw it out there? If anybody who follows him, he's one of the producers for Hidden Colors. He said, what about making just a new one, like Melanoid or something like that?
I mean, he can do what he like, bro. You know, like I said, me personally, I'm a rock with my ancestors.
What was your answer?
No. I'm paying attention, bro. I'm just saying, in a matter of coming up with a new identity that we can all knock heads on. Whatever you call yourself when you go home. As far as I'm
concerned, bro, I'm not with a new identity.
So what
I am who my ancestors is.
What did your ancient ancestors call you?
By tribe or by nation?
Whatever you want to be called.
Okay. So by tribe, I was Yehuda. By nation, I was Yasharallah.
So what are we?
So again, by me bringing that to the table, like I initially said, I will bring it to the table, and if the people choose mine as a collective vote, then we rocking with what I've brought to the table. If the people choose what Trav is talking about, then we rocking with that. It's that simple for me.
That's what's up.
So, but hold on. So, are you saying you would stop identifying as Yehuda and Yasharallah if you lost out on a vote to do so?
We talking about as far as what we gonna identify it as a people, as far as other nations. What am I gonna do? I can continue to claim my heritage and everything, but they're gonna address us as what we collectively call ourselves. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth and argue with you and fight with you about it. You see what I'm saying?
No. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you.
I'm not even talking about you like specifically. I'm just saying, like, if anybody was to ask, I wouldn't sit there and go back and forth. I'm like, I'm Yehudi, but at the end of the day, we as a nation of people collectively chose to be considered or named after this particular title. So that's what it is. That
so it's like the concept like the name like African American or like Chinese American or Irish American, like you know what I'm saying? You can have like the empirical name attached to the tribal descent or national descent with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm throwing the whole concept out there to where, like, to me, if you're gonna have the whole conversation, it's the most it's the easiest one to come to, because like we might not be able to.
Who's that easy for? Who is it easy for?
Yeah, it's not, because what's hard is that we're dealing with a name that people's Most High and their God gave them. So you can't twist that. You can't play with that. Like I can't come up under Yashar's because Yashar says we're Yehuda, and I say, okay, bet I'm a black Yehuda. No. That's disrespectful. You see what I'm saying? So if we do happen to come to the contention that it's going to be a religious name, we're all going to have to go with that. unless the religious people who name it was don't look at it as offensive as us adding the subtitle to it, because that's all he's gonna do. If we come to black, he's gonna say, "I'm Yehuda under the nation of black." This like he's like we shouldn't. If yeah, go ahead.
I think you would have a hard time finding something that'd be close to the word black, right? Because I think a lot of people would.
I'll give up on black. I will give
no.
So
you saw how quick I was able to say, like, all right, well, how about you call me a blackamoor, right? Like, how about we, right? Like, I don't personally mind that in the context of within the family conversation, right? Me personally, I'm never going to stop identifying as Morris, right? However, right, like I said, within the context of the family conversation, how we move together, if there's a second name for me to attach to it, I have no issue with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I gotta be honest and open-hearted. The fact that I believe the Moors betrayed the black, I believe that will be another play on that.
Okay, pick another name. Pick another name, right? So let's say I identify as being Nigerian, right, or Senegalese, right? Like, so I'm saying like whatever name we come up with, right? Yeah. As the group, I'm saying like that the overarching construct, right? Like, I don't like. I'm saying have put my Nigerian or Senegalese side. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like I still can identify as that, but it's absurd. I'm Nigerian this or Senegalese this.
So you feel what would be the science behind the creation of our name or the recognition of our name? Because is it
our language to get up out of this language? Yep, to get up out of this language.
Our language. It will be our title will be based off of our language.
I think
I would say our title. The changing of our title, it would be very important to change our language that we speak.
Oh yeah,
that way the language and the title go hand in hand.
Yeah. Right, like there definitely needs to be like a lingua franca. You know what I'm saying? Like you can like so you should like, let's say I want to study like some dialects within Nigeria for myself or whatever. That's one thing, but like as an overarching group. Like so for like with the Moors in particular, I'll just use as an example. Like you had Arabic as a lingua franca, right? But we had everyone speaking their own language and whatnot. So like in Timbuktu, you have a multitude of different languages written in Arabic script. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I would say like making that a 2.0 kind of a concept. You know what I'm saying?
So like basically, everyone pretty much can identify individuals and nations of people by their language, right? And the language is what is the foundation to our heritage, our culture, and everything that we do. Besides, the actions, you know what I mean? As far as when we express ourselves, we express it through language, through music. That would come through our, like I said, our language, you know what I'm saying? Which would develop our culture, how we live, how we treat each other, how we communicate with each other. All of those different things. That's how I see it. I'm not saying that's how you guys have to see it.
But we got to recognize and acknowledge that, though. Because you said it, but I would like for it to have a value that we cannot change. That we cannot change. Something that we did not decide on our own to be our characteristic, like our diet or our relationship to the earth. Like I was thinking, like earthlings, like to really claim the name of Earth. Like whatever this planet is, we are this. And you don't have a
Martian identity right there, brother. I like that.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like even taking it with that title, right, Suave. So me personally, if I'm gonna rock with that, I'm gonna try and figure out what my ancestors called the Earth.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try my best in my hardest to figure out the language and the pronunciation of it, so I can get back to what I'm saying, where I come from, my essence.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Orthodox.
Well, yeah, that's what I would like it to be. Characteristics that we cannot change, no matter what we believe or will prefer. Your body is made up to eat a certain diet. If you don't eat it, it stops. Like it does what the Creator calls a sin. You're killing yourself. Like when you're taking on these, when you make your body outside the chemical construct that it was naturally made. What you do by adding new things to it, and your body got to adapt and do this, and then start compromise stuff. And okay,
that's suicide, ain't it?
Huh?
I said, ain't that low key suicide?
Yeah, yes. Because if you knew you could live to be 100 and you died at 67 because of your diet, you would feel cheated. And you're also cheating your kids and your grandkids. Go ahead, bro.
Well, I think coming out of your vibration is consistency, as a correspondence. I want to know, what do you think about Jacques Fresco's demonstration on there being a mathematical language?
Bro, that's what the Hebrew is.
That's what, yeah. I'm about to say that's what that Hebrew math.
Ah, dang, that's right. That's what the Arabic is too. Never mind.
Well, bro, it's all Shemitic. It's all the same language. So I don't. Yeah. So when you say Arabic, or you say Hebrew, or you say Phoenician, or you even throw in the Canaanite, we all spoke the same damn dialect. Why the hell am I gonna sit here and argue with you about the damn title? Because you know what I'm saying, we are a different nation, but we spoke the same damn language. So
and
what?
the math gonna bring you back to what's natural anyway.
Exactly. And that's me, man. I'm not. My maturity is not allowing me to argue no more about stupid ass shit like that.
Right.
Yeah. But I believe that if we get on, if just us doing this we're going to end up where we're supposed to be, because we're looking for the right and the truth, and the right and the truth don't change. So if you're searching it, guess what you're gonna find? The right and the truth. And so I know where food comes from, and I know later on, one of these generations is gonna say, we have to eat from the trees. We have to eat from the trees. We have to eat like after we've solved our social problems and our drug addictions and our homeless problems, the problem is gonna be like, man, I really don't like the way these grocery stores are set up. Why are we even buying from you? Okay, why is we keeping our food in the storage when the trees store? Okay, like, we're gonna get there. So I'm not even worried about that, because I'm not gonna be here for that. I just need to take care of the problem. What really it is slowing down the train that we're on and pushing it back so that we could get back on the right track. Like, we're in the place of stop doing a lot of stupid stuff. It's not even about what we're gonna do. Mm-hmm. We need to stop doing a lot. Stop participating in this American culture as much as you can afford.
Right.
Stop
No. Hey, stop. No.
Bro.
Saying it like that, bro, that's giving us a damn excuse. We've been rocking around with too many damn excuses. We need to stop the shit. Period, point blank. Not try, because it's real simple for us not to spend no fucking money on these clown ass holidays that put us in debt. It's that simple. We don't spend, we not in debt.
But what I mean by participating is people who still have to work a job and go out there and rub elbows with these people, and the people who still need to go to school, get a degree, the people who feel that, or even the people who feel like it's a political point. You know, it's still people who think, you know, with our child of respect, but as much as possible, we easily shouldn't see you in the stores at these holiday times. That should be the first day. Like, we already there. I don't believe nobody on here celebrates Christmas.
I don't think on this time, not in our league. I don't think so.
Yeah, so we
at least I'm hoping not.
It's about Christmas.
That's what it is, and we'll create our own occasions that we really get energy for, because we don't get energy from celebrating our defeat. We're celebrating our oppressors' victories.
Hey, this last set aside, I want to say festival. That's how I say it. The last set aside festival was an 8-day celebration of us going back and taking over our kingdom in the Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? Cleaning it up from what the heathens had done to it before the last time they came in and did what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, we went in there, Judah went in there and smashed them heathens, bro. To the point where, you know what I'm saying, and the people that he used was farmers. That wasn't people of war. Okay, they wasn't trained to be wars, but he was like, look, we fighting for our lives, we fighting for our land, we fighting for our heritage, our people. Man, when the enemy seen that, they was nervous, they was scared. Now, how you gonna be a man of war and you scared of some motherfucking farmers? Because what they seen was there was no fear. They didn't care about living. They didn't care about dying. All they cared about was, you know what I'm saying, what they was fighting for, which was family and our heritage, basically. And with that being said, bro, that motivation right there, I don't give a fuck who you is. You can be the softest ass nigga, but at the end of the day, if you understand the fight, I guarantee you won't be a soft nigga that day.
Yeah, no, I know. I know even our cowards are not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I see even our nerds, our cowards, scaredy cats. When like they do the most damage. When they really find it reasonable to do damage, they do the most damage. Like people who just know, I'll slap you for it, and you will never do that again. They slap people every week. Every month they slapping somebody. You know what I'm saying? But the peaceful people who actually don't want to harm or murder, once they get in that position, bro, like I want to make sure the last of them are gone, and I'm gonna leave it at that. The roaches in my house that fucks with me, but yeah, I believe like that combat, our military, bro. Like I appreciate, like the acknowledgement of the needing of it, but like I promise, I see it, bro. I see it. I don't know what everybody else sees, but I see it, and our youngins too. And all we need to do is point ourselves in the right direction. That's it. That's it. But I believe the language will come naturally because once we get amongst each other, we already use whatever language we know, however we want to. Whatever country we in, we have a slang version of it. And the white people really don't know what we saying when we talking.
Nope.
We assume they do because we're talking. A lot of us assume they do because
we have to explain it to they dumb ass.
Yeah, but because we on top. But when you talk to white people, you will see how many times they just smile, shake their head, yeah, walk away, not knowing what the hell you said. They just act like it. Like, there you go. Like, all right. They don't know what you said.
And I say to myself, this motherfucker didn't understand nothing I just said.
Where am I going?
That's exactly what I say to myself when they motherfuckers do that shit. Because I can tell they respond. Like, if you understood what I said, you definitely gonna have a different response.
Yeah. So,
it's just that simple.
Right, you feel me? Not even touching you.
Yeah. Like I see once we get in our own influence, we correct each other naturally. Whether it's by checking somebody or jiving on somebody or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like we check each other. Let me find out you come through in your house be nasty all the time.
Nick.
Like I don't care if 80% of us keep a nasty house. That 20% will get us in check.
Bro, don't let me come to your shit and your shit is all fucked up.
Like,
I'm telling you right now, nigga, you might not like me after that.
And then you gonna invite me over here to this.
You feel what I'm saying? You just might not like me after that because you feel like, man, this nigga telling the truth too much. Like, telling too much truth.
Yeah. But I'm definitely gonna lace your shoes up. It is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? If I didn't love you, I'll just leave your ass hanging like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but
that's what we gotta start learning too, man. You know what I'm saying? The correction that we get from our brothers, it ain't like the correction that we was taught. You know what I'm saying? Being passive and being all weak about the shit. Nah, man, let me tell you exactly what the fuck is going on so you can understand clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No need to sit here and sugarcoat nothing.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't sugarcoat shit. Explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a village to raise a child.
My grandma showed didn't sugarcoat a goddamn thing, boy. And then dare my mom or my dad to say something.
Grandma let you know you ugly just so you don't think you cute and walk around like you cute. Like, look at your ugly self out my face.
Nice.
Like, did grandma just call me ugly?
Did grandma just say she will fuck me up?
Yeah. Yeah, I know my grandma, man, and she couldn't hear, but she could hear she could hear you when you get wrong. I swear, she act like she
Hey, Suave, smack if you want to.
Yeah.
Smack if
You
you
feel what
want
I'm
to.
saying? Like, you feel what I'm saying? She like, I know what that movement is. Like, man, I don't know how she did, man. But she's a very melanated sister, and that's another focus I think we need to focus on is darkening our race. We need to actually start getting spouses that are our complexion or darker. That should be the aim. I believe we need to accumulate this melanin because our darker brothers and sisters are being attacked ruthlessly. Well, a lot of us are, you know what I'm saying, being attacked, but not as ruthlessly. But I know that there was once blue and purple people. And those blue and purple people have been murdered, and they're moving down the line. So I ain't with it. I'm not with it. We need to darken our race back. We need to get our uniform back.
What do you think, Orthodox?
A lot of the times, our brothers be the darkest person in the house. The sister lighter, the kids lighter. That's not progress. The celebrity in the house be the darkest one. Whatever celebrity it is, they the darkest person in the house. Everybody else lighter than them.
Well, what do you think, Beautify?
We're supposed to be the entertainment. Yes, man. That's how they look. That's how they look at us.
I'll bring it back up in the future. Trust me, we're gonna have it again. I'll leave it alone.
Bro, it's gonna come that time, bro, where those that said we are the servants will be looked at as royals. That time is coming. You just have to be patient and hold tight so you can be a part of it. A lot of us don't have no patience.
You said that about darkening our race?
Huh?
You said that about darkening our race?
No, I'm talking about just period point blank about our position in this world.
Yeah, no, I know it's a generational thing. That's what I'm saying. But we gotta get to going. We gotta press go. We haven't pressed go. Everybody is running as fast as possible in different directions. Like I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But you running that way.
They say I. It's no I in team.
That's what I was getting at from the beginning. All the world is vanity. From Ecclesiastes, vanity and struggle of spirit. I think, and personally, just to kind of back with you in a sense of the skin tone thing, I definitely see the vibration of what you are trying to, I think you're attempting to say, which I think is more self-esteem for the dark-skinned race, because it has to be very one-sided. For as we all know the old saying of, white, you all right, if you're fair, if you're fair, brown, you're yellow, mellow, and all that good stuff. And I think it was purposely done as a military psychological tactic, so that the Europeans will be looked at as the inferior, as the superior ones.
I wonder how long did they think it would last?
What's that?
I bet that never crossed their mind.
What's that?
How long would they so-called programming last? How many generations could it stand true?
Oh, it's still going on now. Ever since they changed the color of Jesus.
Oh no, my brother. I mean, it's a lot. A lot of us still kind of sleep. But I believe in this day and time that way more of us are aware of the things that our parents was never aware of.
Yeah, but I wasn't coming.
Psychologically, we still somewhat feel some kind of way.
Yeah, but I wasn't coming from a psychological standpoint. What I'm saying is that it's more beneficial biologically. The more melanated of us, they're healthier when they're in their real diet. The food that we eating hurts them more. They get diabetes, overweight, and all of that shit. Like semen for no reason. You see what I'm saying? That melanin is the code of the earth. And we have to get back in line with that shit. It's a biological benefit. The darker of us have a more physical potential, a more mental potential. But the fact that the system is set up the way it's set up, they usually end up the leaders of something very negative. And they go hard in that direction instead of going hard in the direction they're supposed to be going. You know, so it's all pride aside, no ego involved. I'm just saying, even if we start our movement, I don't think the Lighter Brothers should be the face of it. You know what I'm saying? I think they should know what our point is. I think they should know without asking us anything what our point is.
Right.
So I think it's a biological benefit. I think it's more of a health benefit and more potential. Go ahead, Clay, my bad.
Yeah, just to address what y'all talking about, the historically, whenever people wake up to the uselessness and the incompetent rulership of these particular every nation in the world, once people start waking up to it, then they just come in and kill the population. That's what happens. So, you know, that's why at this time, right? So what happens before, when people get in historically, right? When the people wake up, they think to rebel, and they think to form an army and then go ahead and fight the people that have been saving up and mastering weapons their whole life, that whole damn 400 years that they got somebody you know, under they living in their kingdom, 500 years, 600 years. They've been waiting that whole time to waiting on you to rebel. They can't wait. So the people wake up and say, man, we can beat these people. There ain't no problem. It's real easy. And, you know, sometimes that happens. And then a few people become the leader, and then the rest of the people that they brainwashed to do that are dead. Okay, so there's a phrase in the Bible that says that New Jerusalem is going to be the first city ever in existence that is founded on peace, or founded by peace. PEACE. You see? So then when you get these like-minded people together and you get your military together and stuff like that, there's no need to attack the other 400 countries around the world that's been waiting on us to rebel. See what I'm saying? You just got to sit there and build our country and our city and stuff like that. And then only the local jealous clowns are going to come fight us, and we could easily beat them hands down with no problem.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I appreciate that, because peace is my thing, and I believe we shouldn't lead with our military, because you will be addressed as a military. I believe our military should be like our cooks. When we hungry, they're there. You know, there's no reason to flash our cooks and have our cooks parading and, you know, being the center of attention. When you do that with your military, unless, you know, it gives you a military addressment when they do respond. But that's kind of psychological. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's up for opinion, you know, or for debate or whatever, but that's what I believe. And I believe if it's like a head of a country, like if the United States get into it with Russia, I think Trump and Putin should battle it out. I don't think a million people should go, you know, tonight. No, you think we should go die? I want to see if y'all willing to die. I bet you come up with a treaty then. I bet you work that. You that's going to war. Huh?
You talking about like other nations, like the Mexicans got the immigration thing going on. they come to us to want to be forefront of their movement. Like talking about, Martin Luther King. What about Martin Luther King and stuff like that? You pretty much coming with the attitude. I think you're coming with hey, hold your own nuts, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Like I said, we're going to get it together. It's just holding each other accountable and making sure that when we don't see Suave on this panel, somebody contacts Suave. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know somebody's watching you and waiting on you to hold your end up and do what you're supposed to do. Like, it needs to start happening. It needs to start happening. Money needs to start being saved. Starting today. Starting last week. Money needs to be start being saved. For what? For land. Land has to start being looked at to be purchased. Somebody need to be on it. We all need to be on it. We all need to be saying, well, what is the value? What do we base what land we need off? What do we base that off of? Is it the fertile? Like, are we just planning to just grow? Is it like the cheapest? Fuck it. If the dirt ain't really that good for growing, at least we got land. Like, what is it? Location? What is it? What do we go off of? Like, those are the conversations we need to start having. Those are the actions that we need to start taking. Anything else, I think, is ahead of the conversation. It's planning for the future, which is needed. But we need to be doing what we need to be doing now. So, I mean, like the brother, like I said, I Claim he's part of a program, a movement that they're doing. So I could set up and he could talk about that. Other than that, all I know how to do is say, well, where do we send our money? And I could look online for land. But he actually ahead.
Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Solo Vision Debate League. Me versus Abdul. Who got the best plan for black people? 25 years.
Why did you do 25 years and not 50? By the way,
because he wanted 25 years. I got a plan for 1,000 years, but I mean, you said it right when we first got on here. When you set something up, it should be set up properly the very first time so that it can be self-sustainable for as long as it needs self-sustainable. So it's really kind of unrealistic. Well, he was saying he don't want to talk about 50 to 100 years because it's unrealistic to even think that far ahead in the future. You just got to build something self-sustainable right now, and so that it can last that long. That's what I do said. That's why I want to talk about 25 years. Yeah.
That's how the powers that be think. They think 100 years. Let's get these people fighting. White against black, light skin against dark skin, women against men, old against young. They thought 300 years ahead. Why not us?
I mean, people around here got plans like that, but I mean, you gotta be able to express yourself quick, fast, in a hurry. So it ain't we don't got the time to talk about 100 years on there. That's longer than an 8-hour conversation. That's a 3-week conversation. Who that talking in the background?
I like that build. I wouldn't mind having that debate with myself.
Oh, you got a plan too already written?
I wouldn't even use me. I would just use I would go based off the Jubilee cycle in the Torah, man. Like, so I would do based off the debate that Judah didn't do with him, because Judah was going to do a 50-year plan with him, but then he backed out the debate. And so I thought it was I thought if you're going to be a Torah teacher, you should at least stand on the Torah to do it. And it's obvious that there's a 49-year plan in the Torah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole Jubilee cycle. Yeah. So breaking that one down, like, so for me, it'd just be as simple as establishing the structures and breaking it down in terms of like the temple structures, like this, like I was talking about, like the threshing floor, the storage, the storehouse, et cetera, the cities of refuge, all the way down the like, a lot of people don't know that there's colleges attached to the temple structure, all the type of stuff, the city of the Levites, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? And then breaking down, like, so you were talking about, like, I was asking you about appropriation stuff, right? And so there's an appropriation concept within that whole structure, right? On how stuff gets appropriated, how stuff gets distributed. There's percentages, all the type of stuff, right? So you'd be able to map out, like, you could be able to, like, so for instance, like even with like the cities of Levites or cities of refuge, whatever, they're broken down to be done by population, right? So you can extrapolate everything and make it applicable to our current population, wherever you want to put it, right? Same thing, like, so you'd be able to, like, you were talking about putting out a budget or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like you could actually figure out what the actual appropriate, like, what the income for that budget starts off with, right? Like what the taxation would be, right? Like, so it's, off the given number of the population currently, right? So all that type of stuff. So you can extrapolate it like to like 7 years on 7 years, you know what I'm saying, et cetera. You know how it works, to where you get to 49, and by that time you multiply things out, et cetera, et cetera. It's a pretty ill 49-year plan. Like, it's not hard to get ahead that way. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of excess and increase, bro. Also doing things like establishing the sanctuary shekel, like something like a silver currency, etc. You can do it digitally. You can do it. You can mix digital, you can mix paper, and you can mix physical all together at the same point in time. You can also mix it. You can even put gold and silver on a credit card now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an interesting deal to where you can do things to where you can implement the old systems in the modern time and still keep the law. It's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I've never really walked it out, but it's very easy to do. Like, the numbers, the calculations are there to be made. The equations are there. Excuse me. The equations and algorithms are there in the Torah to do it. So what's good? Anybody going to build?
Oh man, I'm ready. Whatever conversation we'll go to. I was actually just taking care of a little business right quick. My bad.
No, I heard some dead air. That's all. Hey, Rob, what's good with you? I see you on the panel, son. You cutting hair or what, man?
No, not yet.
He said, "What?" I got you.
What's going on? I was in and out. I'm talking to this brother right now, but I don't think he wants. I think he wants to. But anyway, yeah, I really didn't get to hear much of what was said.
So this is a league called the Solution League we're building, right? To where me and a brother of mine named Sergeant Debunk, we started a group called Unified Solutions, and this channel is Unified Solutions TV. And we started off the concept of going amongst the different groups in the conscious community, etc., and seeing where we're having people break down what they believe, and all that type of stuff from their perspective and whatnot, and then finding out where collectively people could agree on, or whatever they could agree on, and finding out whatever they disagreed on, and figuring out a way to civilly disagree on the disagreements and then move forward on what we agree on, versus continually getting in conversations. They're trying to convert people and argue over doctrines, this, that, and the third. Just respect the differences of doctrine and figure out where we can move forward, right? And then also moving on the concept of whatever solutions what people need is okay, and on a collective level they should be adjusted for.
Okay.
And also in the concept of like letting the different groups individually come through and build and hash out their also little individual differences. Like, so like Israelites, for instance, right? Like having everybody come through from the Torah only to the Messianic to the even like Moorish Israelites, etc. You know what I'm saying? To where they can come through and hash out any differences. So whatever we agree on, we can move forward on. Whatever we disagree on, we leave that one to the side. You know what I'm saying? And it's just for the sake of doing something positive versus always just sticking in this Don King concept of we were just fighting each other to no end. Like the fighting is cool, ain't no issue with that, right? But destroying it's fine. We gotta build at some point though. You got to build
Yeah.
something.
No, exactly. No, it's a good thing. I just didn't know where, I just didn't want to jump in, all awkward. So yeah. No, I understood the premise of the this channel. I just didn't know what was being said during the time. I heard you saying a couple things about a debate, so I was like, oh, okay. So I was just trying to wait.
You hear a debate. I was about to try to release the Rob real quick, huh?
No. I'm saying I was on and off on the, like listening in, and then when I came in, you were talking, and I was just, listening, trying to see what was,
I was just joking with you, Ak. I was just joking with you.
Oh, yeah. So, but I understand the premise, and this is why I like sitting on the panel at the Argument League, because we're now trying to move past doctrinal differences to try to find common ground. And when a lot of people are refusing to, in a sense, start with a blank, like a notepad, and saying, let's all look around and say, what do we all have in common? Okay, we're all guys. Okay, so you put males. Then you say, okay, we're all human, 2 arms, 2 legs, whatever. Regardless if you're born a certain way, you're still human, Okay, cool. Then we look around at each other and say, well, then what? Do you guys believe this way? That's the wrong way to think. So we have to say, okay, how else are we going to come with common denominators? Oh, we're all black. You see what I'm saying? So then, from that, once we recognize,
brother. Some people say they Hebrews. I like how you did it. Sounds good.
yeah, no, well, I mean, like, if I saw somebody in a restaurant and they were spitting some knowledge, but in the middle of them spitting knowledge, they were talking about history, and I couldn't tell which which form of spirituality they come from. And he was like, I can't think. And I said a name, and he was like, hey man, thank you, brother. Man, I don't see how this brother came. And then if he says something like, oh man, thank Jesus, I'd be like, oh man. Or if he says something like, see, this is why we were always here on this, or this is why he, then I say, okay, well, this guy is like this. But the common denominator, when you see someone and you really don't know what they're about, you're going to look and say, they black. Just like if you were to go to Sweden and you were just there for 2 weeks or a month, and you're like, man, I only see white people. And then you see me. I was there for a week, but it was in the middle of your month stay or your 3-week stay. You know what I'm saying? You're going to work your way around the club and be like, hey, man, what's up? You speak English? Like, yeah, man, from the States. Oh, man. Oh, thank you, man. I've been around. You're not going to worry about if I believe in Jesus. You're not going to worry about if I'm rich or if I'm poor. You're not even going to worry about, you just, oh my God, I'm just so glad there's somebody else black. Hopefully he understands me as far as like, yeah, man, I'm like this and I'm like that. I do this and I do that. But, oh, okay, I could rock with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we have to figure out how to come together as one first. Then from there, we can, after we come together, and that's what the branch and the offshoot, stuff like that. But once we come together under that common denominator, from there we can branch off, because everybody has different, ideologies. You might have someone who believes in this spirituality, but they're a scientist. And then you have another scientist who believes in this spirituality, but because of one's doctrinal difference, they won't engage in that particular type of science, even though it may be helpful. It could potentially be harmful. Then you might have one that says, well, it's helpful because once I make this patent, I'm going to make $2 or $3 billion, and I'm going to use that money to help my people. But they're not seeing So we'll figure it out as time move on. That's how I feel.
Islam, if I may, I'm real strong on of the belief that if we trace ourselves back, we already have every solution we really need. If I take it to 9/11 as an example, my mom told me this. She was a nurse and all that stuff. Every nation of people, no matter who it was, when that day happened, she said it was interesting. 2 days, yesterday, everybody sat at their own tables. The Hebrews over there, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Indians, the Hindus over there sat at the lunch table in their hospital. But when that 9/11 happened, boom, everybody got to hold hands. They didn't know what language they were saying to each other, but they knew who they was praying to. But the next day or two, it went right back to that lunch table. The Hebrews over there, the Chinese over there. And now I'm going to kind of skip real quick, and I'm going to jump into my personal experience as a Mason. I told you guys about my demonstration when I was selling the Western coffee. My brother wouldn't buy it because of heart problems, but he didn't bother to ask me if I had non-caffeinated. Right? But let us all get ready to have an all-white party. Or let us get ready to drop some money down on some alcohol for refreshments. Oh, everybody's patting their pockets now. Oh, who got $5 on this? Who got? Well, I got $3. Oh, I got $5. Oh, I got 10. We all lick it up. I think what the core issue is, as us as a people, I ain't talking about other nations of people, is trust and unity for one another. We can use the experience that we have even that's going on right now. If we trace ourselves, we hit this live recording. Look, all of us is together right now. And some is coming from the Hebrew demonstration. Some's coming from the Moorish demonstration. I don't know who else is on here, atheists or whatever. But we're already kind of demonstrating it. There's just no money involved other than paying out internet bill. But there's just no money involved yet. So in a way, we're kind of already doing it. If you look at it, Islam.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm rocking with you, bro. Just getting my paint on right now, so I'm just listening.
Yeah. See, me, like I said, I didn't really know where we was going. I just, just responded off of Orthodox Moore and what the brother was saying. I didn't know. Yeah, how's everything going with everybody?
It's all gravy. Hey, Rob, would you be down to participate on this channel in some sit downs with some Israelites trying to hash out some common ground between the Torah only and the Messianic, et cetera, et cetera? You know what I'm saying, on how we can build publicly together or for the nation, but not.
Yeah.
So.
Sundays and Mondays, I'm off. Tuesdays, and sometimes Wednesdays be slow. It just depends on the time of the year. Like right now, a lot of people want their hair to grow out so it could be warm, so they don't be as cold. But yeah, no problem.
That's what's up.
Sometimes Islam. Sometimes in the back of my mind, I'll be on George Bush's father's side. Sometimes, it's just gonna take an alien to come on down here and zap a couple people for us to just all come together, drop the flag. Like you said, leave the religion at the door real quick, and be like, all right, scared about Yahweh Shah and Noble Ali right now. This 3-eyed alien just zapped my baby daddy. We all need to come together. Shoot.
Right. Independence Day style.
Yeah, and the cold part, I don't mean to make an argument out of something, but that would call for another discussion too, as well. You guys watch The Walking Dead, right? Or no?
I've seen it.
Okay, so in The Walking Dead, it's all about humans versus the zombies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But within that construct, nobody is talking about religion. Even though you might see somebody, praying or whatever. But that's not what the premise of the television show is about. So what I feel is it's about who has the strongest mind, leadership skills, and cojones to take people amongst these zombies. And you can just say attribute when they see certain people have code words. So when you hear things like, yeah, these zombies, they're just talking about the masses of people who are just going to follow. And quote unquote, when all hell breaks loose, because I don't care how you believe, if you saw some quote unquote some aliens come down and they didn't look like it was Jesus, it didn't look like it could be God, it looked at like, what the hell are these creatures? Like in a sci-fi horror movie. All that will go out the window, but then it's like the steps you would have to take to ensure that you don't the steps you have to take to ensure that you don't how can I say that you don't you can make sure that everything is a-okay. And I'm not saying that that's what we need to focus on or discuss, but it can be a mental thing. We have to defend ourselves mentally and say, hey, look, these are the type of infections that we cannot allow to come into our community or whatever.
Yeah, let's begin with the coons and Bedouins. Get them up out of there. Keep them up out of there.
Hold up 1 second.
Yeah, boy. So look forward to some interesting dialogues on this channel, family, to where we're going to try to get all the different groups together collectively and individually. So stuff can get hashed out, talked about. We're not saying we're going to be like the end all be all, fix it, like you end of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But like, we're at least trying to provide a conversation that you can't really like that no one's really having. Like everyone wants to have it. We can hear it everywhere else. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like we hear everyone wants to have the conversation of like actually coming to a solution on something, right? But like it's hard work. And it takes a platform to where it's going to take a lot of energy to kind of keep the heads cool and whatnot. So stay tuned. And again, it's not that we won't. It's not that we won't have debates on here. We will have debates. We'll have debates on solutions. You know what I'm saying? What's the best solution on specific topics? So for instance, right? You got brother Claim Your Heritage is talking about having a budget set out, right? We might have a debate on budgets for certain things, et cetera. Like, or what's the best idea for coming to a concept of an economic structure, or et cetera, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There'll be debates. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be an ego thing. It's going to be strictly on the concept of what is the actual best information for us. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be about trying to just win a debate, right? Nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind that concept. It's cool. Like, it's fun to play around with you. It's a nice format. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're a cub, it's fun to spar with other cubs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it prepares you for, you know what I'm saying, like some grown lion stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we got to make sure we get grown lion with it sometimes, and not just stay in the cub side. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Anybody else
bro.
want to say?
What was that? Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me through, man. I got a couple calls I gotta make, man. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Get down with the it's gonna be the Solution League.
Yeah, right now, the channel is Unified Solutions TV, and the Solution League. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you having me on, bro. I'll be back, man, and see if we can solve some things. Thank y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace, love y'all, man. Take care of each other.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
All right, that's the end of the show, or I got the day off, so I'm just seeing what's going on.
Is there anything you want to build on real quick, or what, man?
Well, it wouldn't be fair if I asked a particular question on the topic because the brother's not on. I'd rather wait till we all jump back on one day. But yeah, well, we all haven't. I still stand on the ideology of what the Venus Project comes from, with us having a common heritage of food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and education. Just what do you guys think about that?
What I like about that whole construct is the fact that, like, I like recognizing the common heritage concept, like the basic concept of some kind of level of oneness. I like that. You know what I'm saying? And on another level, because people can go back earlier in the video and see where Swab Boss was talking about a lot of the technical particulars of the city and whatnot, and the brother was talking about like how the city's designed and whatnot. And Bernard was talking about like the what was it, the megaliths, etc. You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff, right? But that's even if you don't want to participate in that structure, right? Yeah. They'll, like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, just get out the structure, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? You're expected to survive off of your own resources. You know what I'm saying? And I like that structure because it still allows for a very egalitarian, like, so Swab Boss was talking about like going back to a log cabin type thing for a little bit, right? Right. And essentially, I keep saying like you'd have to do that in order to make the Venus Project actually possible, right? So I like that they don't negate people being able to do that, because not everybody wants to live in a society that has the megaliths and all that type of stuff. Like, so for some people, that's even profane, right? But the concept of like, oh, if you want to go do it if you want to go homestead, hey, fam, like so for instance, like so there's certain Moors who want to do like a Moorish kind of a village thing, to where like it's like an Amish Moorish kind of a thing, right? Obviously, it's gonna be more up to date, more modern and whatnot. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like the concept is still like grow your own, be in control of your own, make your own stuff, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You could still do it that level, and I like that concept, because I think you would have to blend the two in order to have the longest level of peace you could. You know what I'm saying? Before some inevitable fitna happens.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's another thing I liked about it, when he said, like, if somebody just, hey, I love the smell of wood. I get your dome thing. And all that, silly putty or whatever. So I like the smell of wood, the hand on the hail, I want to, like live that lifestyle, go right ahead. You're responsible if it catch on fire, though. You know what I mean? And I personally enjoyed that because like it allowed, like you said, the freedom of life. Not even freedom of choice, but hey, you can still live. But kind of like how you even used to say, what I think it was more of a long-term type of gradual effect that they can live that lifestyle, and eventually it will become kind of like not a clean glass next to a dirty glass, but they will look at it's kind of like gradually in my mind what I seen what he meant by allowing it to happen, because gradually it will just outdo itself. It will make itself obsolete. By nature, man is always efficient. Man is always very efficient. So, I mean, if you want to go even further back without the hammer or the nail, you got to make clay. And you see what I'm saying? So one way or another, technology is still used because we're naturally efficient. So I think what will happen, it'll be not like a dirty glass next to a clean glass, but it will kind of be while we're hunting, if I'm in that village and I'm hunting, I'm blood, sweat, and tearing, try to drag down this hog and tie him up and everything. And I look over there, y'all over there just walking through this door, beep, beep, nanotechnology. Oh, okay, I got my steak and eggs right now. After a while, I'm gonna just be like, man. Hold on one second. I'm tired. Let me go over there and walk through this thing real quick and think about some Chinese food real quick so I can just, use this nanotechnology. Okay, then I'll come back to hunting. I think gradually man will eventually want what is efficient. If that was the case, all of us would still just live in caves. I think naturally, what I think he was kind of trying to say without pushing it, in my own Piscean water element way, I seen beyond what was going to happen eventually, like the self-checkout thing in the store. Okay, I want to be in this human face. I could go traditional and say hi, have to go in and start a conversation, or I could go, you know what I'm saying? I can go to this self-checkout, beep, 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 and then go ahead in my car and go back to, whatever, my all-white party or whatever. Because I feel man is naturally efficient. We like to abbreviate things. Back in the day, the books used to be very long. It would take a whole paragraph just to give a title of a book. One of my favorite books, old school. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the title of the book. But now we just have holes. Harry Potter. You see what I'm saying? I think we're naturally efficient. We're naturally want to condense things to make life easier for ourselves, and that shouldn't make us no less human, if anything, to want to do that. The gradual progress, I'm 1,000% on that, and I'm not saying not use it, but I'm just saying eventually in the future it will just be rendered obsolete because of man's nature to be efficient. That's fine.
I can dig it. Like what I dig about the concept is like this is how and why you can even see concepts like in movies to where you have like Star Wars and Star Trek and whatnot, to where like they have high levels of technology, but you still got mountains and rivers and trees and lakes and streams and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like even when I was a kid, it seemed like when I was watching that kind of stuff, it was like, oh, you know what? It seems like being able to use that level of technology would make it to where like the ecosystems would be able to repair themselves from whatever we're doing to it. You know what I'm saying? Over time. Do you know what I'm saying? So like it made sense to me like that was like eventually like a balance that was struck to where, this is how you protect the nature without damaging it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because there's some aspect, like we could live like so here's what I'm saying. You can live like pygmies. Like pygmies know how to live with the forest. They know how to walk with the forest, right? That's even what they call that stuff, is the concept of being able to walk with the forest, like living in one with nature and whatnot. Or you could live like also like the high culture of the Egyptians at one level, right? So like we know that they had the ability to produce to make electricity, but we also know that they didn't really do it in large scale, right? And we see, for instance, we see societies that have electricity on large scales, but as a byproduct, there's a large amount of cancer that exists. Right, when they power everything by electricity and whatnot, right? For whatever reason, there's a link to that, right? So you also see to where like there's a limit to what they did with their technology. Even though they could produce the electricity, like, you know what, let's not go all in on that. That might not be the best way to go. You know what I'm saying? For instance, like, yeah, people like Tesla, right? Tesla was like, here's a way to get free energy. You know what I'm saying? Tap it into the ionosphere. And it's you're getting electricity, but you're not having to do a whole bunch of extra stuff to get it, right? And the powers that be were like, nah, you said free. That means I can't tax it. No. I can't get paid. And as a matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? Like, the powers that be get paid on both sides of stuff. Like, they'll get paid off the cancer, they'll get paid off the power grid. So, like, there's a definite way to where you can be in balance with everything. Like not every culture is going to be the same. So, like, people are going to be cool with a lot high level technology or a low level of technology, like the most natural way of living, right? But if you balance it out, you really, really, really balance it out, you get the longest sustainability you'll ever find, right? And when you get that down pat, you like what I noticed about what they talk about with the Venus Project is the fact, like, once you really get the resource thing down, you don't really understand what freedom can be until you get that part down. Once you get that down, you really can exercise your God-given ability to be an individual, right? In you know what I'm saying? Like really do so in understand yourself, perfect yourself, all that kind of stuff, right? Now there can be an extreme to it, but I'm saying when you allow for both levels to where, like, you can live naturally, you can also live within the city, whatnot. You have the balance there. You know what I'm saying? To where like you'll have the longest sustainable peace you're gonna find. Does that make sense?
Oh, Islam, and I'll encourage anybody, so you don't just hear from me. You can hear from the man's mouth himself. He passed away, I think, last year. Somewhere in October for 2017 to 2018, October, November. So, may sail on smoother seas. But he did write a book. Him and Greg Keys, by the name of Looking Forward. It's like a 1940 or 1914 kind of book, but it really just lays out in a kind of a science fictional walkthrough on what it would be like in that type of city, in that type of ideology, and I say just go from there. It would all just make sense from there. Build it. They will come, but they will also, like you said, they'll work them. We will also work these programmed aberrant behaviors outside of ourselves, which is just a result of not satiation, but there's another, just a restriction of access to resources. If you produce those resources, not in the abundance, but to an efficient amount, dependent on the carrying capacity of the earth, you will dwindle down a lot of behavior that we deem as negative, evil, whatever, haram, shirk, whatever. As a quick example, there was an experiment with a rat. There was 2 bottles of water in the cage with the rat. One of them had heroin in it. One of them was just pure water. Obviously, he took a lick of the heroin water that had heroin in it, took a little lick of the plain water. He went right back to the heroin and kept licking the heroin water. But then, after a couple, of obviously he got real sick and died and stuff. Then one, another scientist kind of went in there with him. I don't have the date and everything, so I apologize, fellas, but I think the spirit of the matter is what matters of the story. He said, hey, why don't you put in there a community? You put in some more rats, give them some rats he can mate with, some little, playpens he can exercise, and, just a whole community inside of the cage. None of the rats touched the heroin water. They were more concerned with each other. And, then that's kind of like a micro example of what I would suggest to that the Venus Project is pushing. You build what man just naturally just wants, which is what we have all in common: access to resources, not access to these religions. We can get that at a click of a button. Any religion we want to look up at this point, even secret. go to sacredtext.com. You want to go to occult science, go to sacredtext.com. You know, if you want to go mystical with it, you know, all that. But we have in common is food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, education, and I missed one. That's transportation. So it's actually 7. That's 7 things that we have in common. That if we have more access to those things, you would have less of a behavior that we just find unfavorable. We all know that obviously the powers that be don't want that, and that's the issue. But I feel it don't take a lot of people to make anything happen. You know, it just takes a few people, and with trust and unity with one another. If we leave the religion out of it, then I think we'll do a lot better. You know, like they even say at work, 4 things you don't talk about: religion, money, politics, and a woman's age. You know, certain things you just don't bring to a certain establishment. You know, so we just need to come with that same attitude. Because like you know, brother was already trying to throw in there, and then I'm just keeping it real. He left, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till he come back on. But just to give you an example, what we must practice, it's like a muscle. We just gotta exercise it. But he kind of came out of nowhere with the Moors enslaved the people, you know, enslaved the black people, and you know, instantly I was like, you know, it's the same people, so we enslaved ourselves. But I didn't want to go. I didn't want to say that, you know, but I wanted to, but it was like that's not what this is about. And so I feel it's a muscle that is going to be hard to exercise. So I'm with you guys, man. But Islam, I feel like I said a lot, but if anybody else have anything else to add on or whatever. But just check it out. Jacques Fresco, looking forward. He has a lot of documentaries on YouTube. I feel that's good, man. What else is there to say? You know, with that, you know, I'm a heritage of resources, man. Islam.
Yeah, and so for the family who think it's a little too airy-fairy out there, what he's talking about, like how do you get to something like that? Again, I like a lot of the concepts of the Venus Project, but I make a very similar critique about the fact, like, I don't think that I feel like you need a transition point to get there. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I also like the fact that they allow for like the people who still want the log cabin style stuff, et cetera, because it allows for that their whole process to even to exist and whatnot. But with that, like, something that me and Bernard always talked about, like hearing me talk about, was the fact of, I think you could, like, the same thing is represented in the Old Testament, et cetera. The whole like there's a Canaanite structure to this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? To where there's, like I was talking about, the cities of refuge, et cetera, to where there's 7 services set up for the people. Again, ironically, for like what he's talking about, right? And so I was a part of what they talk about is having like self-computerized setup stuff or whatnot, right? And I'm always talking about, like, if you're gonna have something like computerized or whatnot, and you're not gonna be, it's gonna be hands off or whatnot, it would have to be running on some kind of like algorithm you could trust, right? Not some self-programming algorithm, but one that you could program. Otherwise, you're messed up, right? And so I always talk about like the SLM algorithm, right? In the sense to where, like, SLM is just a semantic breakdown for like peace, completion, wholeness, perfection, all that kind of stuff there. And so I saw that algorithm would, for me at least, I haven't been able to see a better one. What was encompassed in the scrolls of the Old Testament and whatnot, or the Torah and whatnot. And you'll probably hear me talk about similar concepts here too as well. But yeah, family, I think I'm about to hop off and see what's going on with some other people in my family and whatnot that I got to take care of. However, stay tuned, because we just lightly touched on a lot of topics that you're going to hear talked about here. You heard concepts of nationality. You heard concepts of what names we call ourselves. You heard concepts of monetary systems and economic systems. You heard concepts of trade, local, international. You heard concepts, all kind of stuff. You heard concepts of conflict resolution. You heard concepts of all kind of stuff here, right? So stay tuned, fam. You're gonna hear stuff like that and much, 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 much more We'll be doing sit down interviews with certain people. We'll be organizing conferences and whatnot. Again, presentations, debates, lectures, all that type of stuff. So sit tight and stay tuned. With that, I say peace and love. Oh, I can't find my mouse now. Oh, where my mouse? There you are. Peace, family.